1929, Texas and Oklahoma began playing their annual game at the fairgrounds. In the 1950s, Elvis Presley performed a concert leading up to the big game. And in the shadow of Big Tex, the Texas OU tradition continues today. There is no setting in college football quite like it. And when the game ends, thousands of folks will spill into the midway and enjoy the rides and all the fried food that you can imagine. Yes, the Texas OU game is a rite of fall down here in Dallas.
A river runs through it all right, running through history, rolling through time, a boundary between territories and teams. Billy and Earl, Barry and Dow, Sam and Colt, Bob and Matt. Half the crowd crimson and cream, half the bowl burnt orange. Half in ecstasy, half in misery. 12 months in 4 quarters, 60 minutes for 365 days. For rank to maintain, for regard to reclaim. Boomer sooner, hook 'em horns, high noon, deep cotton, Red River. Let it flow.
Welcome to ESPN's College Football on ABC, presented by Buffalo Wild Wings. You are looking live at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, Texas. One of the great traditions in college football is the stadium crowd evenly split at the 50-yard line between Longhorn Burnt Orange and Sooner Crimson. Annual sellout in excess of 90,000 to see 2 unbeatens. Now, let's head down to the field, and here is Chris Fowler.
All right, Brett, thank you. Great to be with you here. Youthful exuberance for Texas. So many new faces. 2 first-year coordinators getting their first taste of this rivalry. And Oklahoma comes in with the swagger and the confidence of a season, preseason number 1. Lee, what's the key to this game?
Well, I think the key to this game is Texas' ability to pressure Landry Jones. Remember, he has thrown 22 pass interceptions in 16 career games away from Norman, and this game is in Dallas. Another thing, very important, last 6 games, the team that won the turnover battle has won this game.
That's important, Coach. I think it's Oklahoma's defense. You can't take Texas's young guns, those quarterbacks, Case McCoy and David Ash, lightly. You know Brian Harson's going to try to dial up some trick plays because, let's face it, the Oklahoma Sooners are prone to giving up the big play. So Tony Jefferson, their most dynamic linebacker, he's going to have to play big. And, of course, Travis Lewis.
Travis Lewis bringing that pregame intensity as the Sooners take the field. Texas appears the calmer of the 2 teams, but is that the naivete of youth? Lee, you mentioned turnovers, lack of penalties, rushing yards, time of possession. Those have also been keys to victory in recent years. What's your pick, Jess?
I got the Sooners. I got the Sooners pulling away late. I think it's going to be close early, but the Sooners late.
Good game, good pick. I got Oklahoma. I wish I had my guns. I know. Oklahoma, the winner.
Well, if history holds, the higher-ranked team, the favored team, has won every time but once since 1996. Can Texas, has already paid back 2 teams this year, get a milestone win over Landry Jones, and the Sooners stay on course for the BCS championship game. College football presented by Buffalo Wild Wings will continue after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
1,000 on hand, and now for our rivalry history, and that is brought to you today by Sprint. Been played here since 1929. Bud Wilkinson, Darrell Royal, just 2 of the great names who have participated in this. And one of these 2 teams has won the Big 12 title each season since 2004. And you know, it seems like they've been here forever. Norman, Oklahoma, Austin, Texas. You can see the drive, 194 miles down from Norman, 190 miles from Austin, evenly split. As we take a look at Mack Brown, 14th year he's come here as the head coach. Bob Stoops been the head coach at OU for 13 years. Let's go to Aaron Andrews with the Oklahoma coach.
Brent, thanks so much. Coach, you've been saying all week, we have to stop Texas's run. How do you do it?
Being assignment sound, tackling well, playing physical.
This is your 13th year a part of this rivalry. In all those years, what's the #1 key in a game like this?
Being physical and taking care of the football, turnovers.
Thanks for your time. Brent.
Thank you, Aaron. Oklahoma, the visitors, so they'll wear the white here today, and they'll be on the far side. Texas, in their burnt orange jerseys, will be on the press box side. I'm Brent Musburger with Kirk Herbstreit, and Kirk, you made a very quick entry. They must have been holding the elevator for you, my friend.
They were very well planned out. Yeah, this is great. The energy down on the field with game day, you could just feel these two teams so different. You know, you have Oklahoma, the veteran team, and Texas, all this newfound youth, and they're ready to go. It's going to be interesting to see how this one unfolds early.
Yeah, I think that is the key for Texas, is early, because as you and I have talked during the week, inexperience, a lot of inexperience. Now, it was interesting, folks, that Mac Brown broke his format for this game. This is the first time since Mac became head coach that he's brought a team in here for a walkthrough. And yesterday, they did an entire walkthrough in shorts. He said, I just want to get them accustomed to the scene in here.
How about David Ash? He's from the state of Texas. He's never been to this game. First time he's seen this stadium. And he's going to play. He's a true freshman. Was yesterday at that walkthrough that you're talking about. And there are other players on this roster. This is the first time they've witnessed this.
Texas won the toss. They will defer. So we will see Landry Jones and the OU offense off the top of this game. Trey Franks, who is back after a 2-game suspension for violating team rules, is the deep man here for the Sooners. Justin Tucker will kick it away, and we are underway in Dallas. From the 5-yard lines, Franks picks his way out to the 29-yard line. And here now comes Landry Jones on the season. 10 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. But Herbie, everybody is making a thing out of the fact that he throws more interceptions on the road than in Norman.
And there's no doubt about that. I think that's one of his personal goals, is to be able to show in this kind of environment away from Norman, he's going to be able to have a good day. The key for Texas's defense, they've got a lot of youth on that side of the ball too, is pressuring. You don't have to sack him, just pressure him. Get him out of the pocket. Make him have to reset his feet. That's what Texas has to do, along with stopping the running game of Dominique Whaley.
And Whaley will open as the tailback. From Lawton, Oklahoma, the walk-on. Jones is going to throw one-on-one. Got Broyles sitting down at the 40-yard line in a foot race. And here's the matchup. Those two great wide receivers against the Texas corners, and you can see what Oklahoma has in mind all day.
They're attacking Diggs. He's a soft corner. See how he is retreating. That's an easy throw and a great way for Oklahoma to get Landry Jones into rhythm. You got a veteran like Ryan Broyles and a true freshman like Quandre Diggs. It's a matchup they'll take.
They went quickly to Whaley on the first carry of the game, and Alex Okafor makes the stop right near the, actually that's going to be a loss of about 3 yards, and so it'll be second down and long. This hurry up tempo that Stoops and OU want to use here this afternoon against the Horns. Back in the pistol now is Jones. Motions his back out, going to flare to him. Here comes Whaley. Got the flat angle. Wrestled out of bounds at the 24-yard line. Our Chick-fil-A impact players for OU here, Kirk.
And we will try to get this in before they snap the ball. Landry Jones, obviously. Ryan Broyles, you already saw both of them. Gabe Eichert now is at center for the injured Ben Haburn. And Travis Lewis, the leader, wearing number 12 today for Austin Box.
On 3rd and 3, Jones fires for a first down. Miller out of the backfield to the 10-yard line. There he is using his fullback H-back for the first time today, and it'll be a first down at the 10.
It's one thing to prep with a young defense, this tempo. It's another thing to see it in person.
And right back, and Whaley, the Horns were ready that time. a 6-yard loss on that play. So they jumped to it with that hurry-up tempo, and Coach Diaz had the horns ready. Jackson Jeffcoat, one of those highly recruited defensive players for the Horns, makes an impact here early.
And Manny Diaz does a lot of slanting and angling with his defensive line. That's going to put you in position to make a lot of plays against the run, and it can also take you away. That time it worked out.
Stills is one-on-one to the left. Great pair of hands. The other wide out. Whaley flashes. Jones looks at Stills, and he's inside the 10 to the 9-yard line. It'll be 3rd down coming up.
Red zone execution is so big in this game, Brent, for both sides. Manny Diaz on the defensive side, and for Oklahoma, Josh Heupel. They both told us how important it is to be able to, when you get down in this area, you cannot settle for field goals. You've got to score touchdowns.
They put Broyles in the slot to the right. He'll try to get a safety on him. 3rd down now and goal for Oklahoma. And timeout. OU burns an early timeout as they come up with 3rd and goal, a big play in the first quarter. So we'll take a break and come back and see what the Sooners have got in mind with their 3rd and goal.
Vizio.
We are back with 3rd and 8, and the first thing we note is that Ryan Broyles has gone out to split in. He was flanker before the timeout. So they make a switch and they move Jazz Reynolds on the inside of that formation to the right. Landry Jones looking still. Stills one-on-one and incomplete, out of bounds. Field goal time coming up here for OU.
Really good coverage there by the sophomore. Carrington by them, locked up with Kenny Stills, the guy they like to try to hit the fade to down in the red zone. Locks him up really good, gives him nowhere to go, and gets him to the sideline. Landry Jones just throws it away, and the Texas defense, after giving up the big play to Broyles, gets the stop once again in the red zone. They've been terrific in that area this year.
Now, Jimmy Stevens continues to be out with that quad injury, Herbie. We had him kicking down in Tallahassee. So this will be Michael Hunnicutt, redshirt freshman from Richardson, Texas. This is a 26-yarder for Hunnicutt. Curls it right through beautifully. Oklahoma strikes first, but the Texas defense held in the red zone. That is big, according to Herbie.
But Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports. AT&T. Get it faster with 4G. We think possible. And the 2012 Chevy Silverado HD.
Aerial coverage of the State Fair of Texas provided by Goodyear. Everything Goodyear has learned, making tires that go the distance, inspires what they roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven. Oklahoma is set to kick it away here. Fozzy Whittaker is back deep along with Quandre Diggs, the freshman. And it will be the freshman. Here comes Diggs. Tripped up and short of the 20-yard line. Now, the rotating quarterbacks. Here comes Case McCoy, the younger brother of Colt. There is David Ash. He has a play in this sequence. But Coach Harsin said it will depend now on what we do, but he will bring him in on every 3-down situation. He rotates him throughout the game.
Texas will show a lot of looks, try to confuse the Oklahoma defense, but they've got to be able to run the football to take the pressure off these quarterbacks.
And that is young Malcolm Brown, the freshman, behind Cody Johnson. He'll get the first carry, and here is that running back. Very highly recruited, picks up 2-3 yards as we take a look, Herbie, at today's impact players, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
Well, Case McCoy, you talked about, along with David Ash, obviously they're playing their poise big here. Malcolm Brown, the true freshman, has to step up. Another true freshman, younger brother of Jordan Shipley, Jackson Shipley, probably their go-to guy out on the perimeter. And then Blake Gideon, a veteran, one of the few veterans on this Texas team, is going to have to step up and provide leadership for the Horns defense.
McCoy stays in for 2nd down. Now they move Malcolm Brown back to the backfield, and he'll come again into the middle. It's going to be hard going against this defensive front of the Sooners. Alexander, Walker, McFarland, and Rennell Lewis. They are a load for any offensive line, and they're wearing number 12 in memory of Austin Box is their great linebacker, Travis Lewis.
Something to keep in mind for Texas. It might not look real flashy right now, but their point is to stay on schedule. Stay on schedule. Looks at the bottom right-hand corner, 3rd and 4. They don't want a lot of 3rd and 7s or 3rd and 8s. 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3 gives them more options with their play calling.
Fozzy Whittaker has checked in as the back. He's off to McCoy's right. We'll see him in the Wildcat formation throughout the game. McCoy, middle, incomplete. And there's the penalty flag as Jackson Shipley went down, and it appeared like it was a little bit early, but let's let the officials sort it out. Good crew here today. Scott Novak's our referee, and Michael Cooper's our umpire.
Pass interference on the defense in the 84. Ball deflects on the foul. First down.
And I think Tony Jefferson, after having 3 interceptions a week ago against Ball State, was a little bit anxious here, and he jumped the route. He just came down and made the contact a little bit too early with Shipley. So Texas, on their first 3rd down, catches a break with the pass interference by Jefferson.
Now David Ash has checked in for the first time at quarterback. He goes into that pistol formation. This is Whittaker. Sprinting, turning upfield. Whittaker down the sideline for another Texas first down. All the way to the 44-yard line. That's 18 yards.
Fleming, the corner's in position. And number one thing Bob Stoops said, we cannot let Texas run on the perimeter. Fleming, watch this, a great angle. He's right there. You cannot allow Fozzy Whittaker to get to the outside of you. Poor technique that time. A good quickness by a healthy Fozzy Whittaker. We've been watching Fozzy play for 4 years now. It's the first time he's healthy, and his experience is key today.
5th-year senior from the Houston area. And tripped up is Ash. Frank Alexander rolled in defensively, and like I said, Alabama and LSU have great defensive fronts. Oklahoma will take a backseat to nobody this year.
Well, it's obviously a miscommunication up front. The one guy you always want to account for on Oklahoma's defensive line is Frank Alexander. The coach is telling us this week he just seems to be playing at a different level as a senior. He's practicing better, showing a lot of maturity, and much more awareness, and you saw it right there.
McCoy returns. Goes empty in the backfield. Shipley's off to his left. And McCoy is smacked down at the 34-yard line. Big Casey Walker.
And they brought pressure from over here, from the outside. And they're just trying to create some confusion. They overloaded up front, and I'm surprised anytime Texas is going to throw the football, that's what's going to happen. The ball came out, and Oklahoma pounced on top of that football.
So on our first turnover, the Sooners are in business at the 33-yard line, and Walker being congratulated, like many of the Sooners, out of the state of Texas. He's from Garland. Dominique Whaley back in as the running back. Sooners lead it by a field goal. Play action. Going down. And a beautiful move by Okafor. Okafor and Jeffcoat are giving the OU tackles big problems here in the early going.
And this time, Brent, they just went right over the tight end, Austin Haywood, bringing as much pressure as they can. And that, again, is a big key.
Penalty flag.
We'll talk about intentional grounding and whether or not he was outside of the tackle box area, maybe.
The original foul for intentional grounding, it was ruled on the field that number 8 was in the area. 2nd down.
Also looked like he did a good job of getting away from Okafor and getting to the outside of that boxed area. But Whaley was there anyway, so they pick it up.
So it will leave OU with a 2nd down and 10 after the incompletion. Jones clean, Stills breaks free to the 25-yard line, just short. of a first down.
If you're a Texas fan watching this, you got to be proud of the way these guys are playing up front. They're bringing a lot of pressure. Big key is you've got to tackle the receivers, Kenny Stills and Ryan Broyles. Once they make the catch, you've got to wrap them up. You cannot allow many yards after the catch.
Whaley, the running back, need 2 yards on this third down, and now Whaley moves over to the left for Jones. Going to throw to him for the first down. So Jones showing his experience when he moved Whaley over to the left side, threw to him in that flat for the first down. He recognized that he could throw underneath that Horn defense.
Well, they flooded the zone with 3 receivers, and only 2 defenders in the area. And Landry Jones does a good job of looking into that defense's coverage and finding the open man for the first down.
Just across the 15-yard line for Jones and the Sooners. Quick throw to Stills, trying to break the tackle down at the 8-yard line. That was Bindum. Barrington Bindum, the corner. And he's got his hands full with number 4. Any secondary that plays OU will be matched against perhaps the 2 finest receivers on one team in the country, Broyles and Stills.
Texas 7th in the nation in red zone defense. They were successful their first time down in this area. Let's see if Oklahoma's better at executing on their end.
Now they bring Broyles into that slot on the right. And Whaley will get the call. Breaks 1 tackle short of the 5-yard line. Keenan Robinson, the senior from Plano, there defensively for the Horns.
Just very impressed right now with Texas in the trenches. I know that they've not had great field position. I know it's going to be an uphill battle for their young offense, but just watching this defense, they're holding their own up front, which is very, very important as this game goes on.
Remember, it was the turnover, the fumble, that gave the Sooners this opportunity. Lead it by a field goal. Now they've got a third down. Stills will motion to the right. Looks in that direction. On the run, fires incomplete, and that's because he was under pressure. And that was Keyston Randall, big number 91, out of the Beaumont, Texas area, rolling in on him.
Great job again by the Longhorn defense. And Brent, you're right, Randall just beat up Gabe Eichert, the guard who's now playing center because Ben Haburn is out. It's the first time in this game we've seen that hurt the Oklahoma offense, where he just got manhandled up front by Randall to force the quarterback out of the pocket. And that's the key to stopping Landry Jones. Get him outside of the pocket.
Hunnicutt, this time a 24-yarder. If he kicks it. Perfect on the day. And he has put OU up by 2 field goals. But the Texas defense has stood tall in that red zone twice. With the Texas State Fair, courtesy of the Cheez-It Real Fan Cam. And some fans have been having a great time here, and Big Tex looking down on his crowd. That's one of Herbie's favorite characters, folks, right there. Big Tex. 6-0 now. Strength of 2 field goals, Herbie, and Texas has to feel pretty good if they can get the offense going.
Considering the way their defense started the game and the position they were in, to be able to hold down the Oklahoma offense in the red zone and force those field goals is huge.
It's going to be the freshman again. Quandre Diggs, the corner. This time out to the 25-yard line. And, well, tonight, big schedule on hand here on the family of networks. Look what we've got. We got Auburn, Arkansas, ESPN. On the ESPN2, Georgia, Tennessee. ESPNU's got Alabama, Vanderbilt. And Ohio State, Nebraska will be right here on ABC. Get the clicker ready tonight, folks. Or head on down to your favorite neighborhood pub. Get all 4 of them up there.
You and I get to actually participate in the clicker tonight. That'll be fun.
Exactly right.
What a night to do it.
Isn't that great? Malcolm Brown. Now we've talked about him, Herbie. He's that talented freshman running back there, still trying to get him going. They're going to throw on first down, and McCoy does to Shipley. And Shipley is out of bounds at the 32.
I like that. The first series, they're just trying to get these young guys settled in, and they ran the football fairly predictable. But Ryan Harsin, as an offensive coordinator, again, coming over from Boise State, he will mix up the looks. That's the thing to watch today. Watch the amount of formations, the personnel groupings, all to confuse the Oklahoma defense.
One thing, though, he didn't bring Kellen Moore with him.
No.
2nd down and 2. There's Malcolm. Now he'll try to get that edge. And not this time. Whittaker got it earlier, but Aaron Colvin, the safety, said, you're not going to make a living trying to get to the left.
Brent Venables, the defensive coordinator from Oklahoma, Bob Stoops, they have talked all week to their team about not allowing Malcolm Brown or DJ Monroe to get to the corner. Fozzy Whittaker did it earlier. This time, Corey Nelson kind of sets the edge for this defense, and the rest of that Oklahoma defense swarms to the football. Good job by the Sooners on D.
3rd down and 2. Cody Johnson, and it's a Wildcat. There's the reverse. There's Harson's razzle-dazzle. 1st down, Texas to the 35-yard line. So once they set the Wildcat, you can bet on them handing off and even throwing off that formation. This time, they come around for the 1st down.
Brad, how about this? Razzle-dazzle, 3rd and 2. Handoff, hand it off to Monroe. 1st down for 2.5. We'll take that off the razzle-dazzle. They get a 1st.
35-yard line now. McCoy, you can recognize him as the quarterback with that long white sleeve on the right arm as you see these two quarterbacks. Middle, complete to the 40-yard line. Irby, Blaine Irby.
Big tight end. You and I actually had him years ago, Brent, in a Holiday Bowl against Arizona State. He's battled through some injuries, and he finds himself back in the rotation at tight end along with DJ Grant. DJ Grant checks back into the game for Irby. He's number 18. He's a former receiver. Uh-oh, here they come. More razzle-dazzle.
There comes one of Harson's formations.
Haven't shown this all year.
There's the screen pass to Whittaker to daylight to the 45-yard line. Brand new play.
That's what Brian Harsin wanted to do. He has saved some wrinkles for this Oklahoma defense, and they came out, and nobody's out on the perimeter to the left. Nelson's out there by himself, but he's dealing with 3 linemen and a tight end. Fozzy Whittaker gets into the open field. He knows what to do. That time, Travis Lewis had to come all the way over to make that play. There's the wrinkle by Brian Harsin.
So Irby back in as tight end. Now he goes with 2 tights, 1 tight and an H-back actually in motion. This is a power running formation, and Whittaker. And it is Whittaker breaking free. Whittaker to the 34-yard line. He's off to a huge start.
Good job of setting the edge this time by Texas. Great perimeter blocking. Downfield, the effort there by Mike Davis. But this is Fozzy Whittaker. This is the Fozzy Whittaker that we've been waiting to see for a couple years. I'm telling you, he's healthy. I think the presence of Malcolm Brown and Joe Bergeron have really pushed him. He's the kind of the grandfather of this offense, and especially in that backfield.
Down to the Sooners 33. Brown back on the field for the Horns. Draw play with Brown. Malcolm cuts and steps. Jefferson making the stop. Irby at the airport. One of my friends there, one of the porters for a long time, is Fozzy Whittaker's relative. They had me tell the coaches that if Fozzy didn't show up big in this game, no barbecue when he comes home down to Texas way with all the relatives. He thinks the world of this young man and the career he has had here. And you know they use him right now in that Wildcat formation, and they've got the quarterback, and Fozzy is alongside him. They give it to Fozzy, and the Sooners were ready for that 2nd down. Thrown for a loss by Fleming.
This is part of having an inexperienced quarterback, not recognizing a corner coming off the blitz. Look right here, and the quarterback's eyes, he's not even looking out there. This is the difference between having Kellen Moore or a Colt McCoy, who's a veteran, and having a young freshman. You don't see it, you're not able to check out of it, and it's a negative play.
Here comes a big 3rd down, Herbie, at 6 yards for McCoy. They keep Whittaker in the game. Shipley is to the left. Deflected, incomplete. Didn't get the ball up high enough, and it was deflected at the line of scrimmage. So the Biggins got in that time, Herbie.
Yeah, and Corey Nelson came on a blitz. We talked a lot about Texas blitzing on 3rd down. Well, you got an inexperienced quarterback, a true sophomore. You're going to obviously bring pressure. That time Nelson comes untouched right through the middle, and the awareness to get his hand up and knock that down.
So Justin Tucker on to attempt a 46-yarder. This longer than the 2 successful OU field goals. on its way. Looks long enough. Slips it across and cuts the lead in half. Battle of the field goals continues in Dallas. Check it out on the Longhorn Network.
You know, they show practice live in Austin on the Longhorn Network on Tuesday and Wednesday. If you're a Texas fan, there's nothing better than that.
Absolutely. Here's Whaley in as a running back. Here's Whaley, left side. That defensive front, Herbie, that's a tough front.
They are really being physical right now at the point of attack. I mean, all things considered, you're down 6-3, but got to be happy with the way they're holding up against the run. They're trying to get Landry Jones into some obvious passing downs. When he throws, they put some pressure on him. They're doing okay. They're holding up front right now and winning that battle.
But can the defensive backs hold up?
Exactly.
As Jones is back in the pistol on second down, and he's going to put it up against them right now. Broyles double team. They bracket it over the top.
Well, the experience of this defense, of the safeties, Christian Scott and Blake Gideon, but so far, that's a true freshman. Diggs on the first play of the game had to cushion, and Broyles made him pay for it. Since then, the adjustment by Manny Diaz is he's tightening that cushion up and taking it away.
Going to put it up again. Come underneath for the first down. He's got it. Midfield and out of bounds is Jazz Reynolds. So the one they were probably not considering as a go-to receiver, Jazz Reynolds, comes up with a big play. He's a sophomore from Houston.
Well, they threw a flag right at Kenny Stills as he was making a block on Blake Gideon. Be interesting to see as they talk, to see if whether or not he got in front of Gideon on his block.
There is no unnecessary roughness foul for helmet-to-helmet hit, and it was in the shoulder. First down.
Okay, they're taking a look at this, not just the potential hit from behind, but whether or not he got up too high. It's a good effort by Stills, and he uses the shoulder, and it looks like the contact's right there on the shoulder. I'd love to see them when they get together as a group, talk it over. Maybe somebody had a better angle, and they correct the call.
Absolutely. First down now for the Sooners. They've gone into Longhorn territory with the football for the third time here in the early going. And Whaley picking up about 4 yards. And this will bring up a second down for Jones. So the weapons galore for this OU offense. You look for Broyles. You look for Stills. You consider the tight end. Here they go again. Play action, rolling right underneath. Whaley as a receiver. First down to the 31-yard line.
And see, you and I are used to seeing this team and seeing Landry Jones get to the line, and Texas has looked at it. They were introduced in their bye week before Iowa State to practicing against tempo. But it's one thing, again, for these defenses to see it and prep it, and then just like that, you get them out of position, you catch them napping, and you're able to hit a big play. It constantly challenges your focus as a defense.
The aces are to the left. The field side. Final minute opening quarter. Come back with the run play, Whaley. So Vaccaro and Bynum were matched up against Broyles and Stills on the same side of the formation, and they're staying right there right now.
The way the Texas safeties and linebackers are attacking the running game. Do not be surprised to see some play action and to try to slip a tight end or a receiver behind that aggressive look from Texas's defense.
The right side of the Texas defense with its hands full now. And Jones comes back the other way. Got the first down at the 20-yard line. Hannah. So the stars were lined to the left, and he came back with a blue-collar tight end, Hannah, for the first down. The experience of Landry Jones, you can just see it in how he runs the operation. There's a penalty on this play, however. This is Broyles, end zone, but hang on. There is a penalty flag. The line judge threw it immediately as the play unfolded. Let's see if this one's coming back.
Legal formation.
So the touchdown is coming back, and that flag was thrown immediately.
Yeah. Brent, the Oklahoma coaches telling us this week one of the things that they're most proud of has been the execution of the tempo. Not only are they running 90 to 100 plays, but the turnovers and the penalties have been limited. Here at a crucial moment where they find Broyles for a touchdown in illegal formation, catches up to Oklahoma where they were in that hurry-up mode.
And Roy Finch checks into that backfield as a running back. There's Broyles and Vaccaro. Broyles is in the left slot for the offense. And they burn a timeout. That's the second timeout that they have called so far in this game. Herbie, one of the storylines that have been interesting for me to follow over the last couple of weeks, because we did Oklahoma down in Florida State, and I thought that was one of the hardest hitting football games that we've been around, especially in September, a long, long time. But what I'm curious about is how the Sooners keep on falling when they really haven't done anything wrong. I mean, they started out the season #1. I note that the coaches are keeping them #1 in their pool.
Yeah.
But the writers seem to be looking for the flavor of the week. What's going on here?
Well, I think that the writers have looked at LSU and Alabama and their accomplishments and rewarded them. I don't think it's necessarily all about what's wrong with Oklahoma. I think it's more about, look what LSU's done. Look what Alabama's done. But it is interesting to see how these teams have changed. One thing I would add to an Oklahoma fan, just keep winning. LSU and Alabama will knock each other off. If you keep winning, you'll be where you want to be in January.
Good advice. 1st and 15, throws the slant back to the 20-yard line. Landry Jones. Defense will have its hands full when they take on the experience of Landry Jones, the junior from New Mexico. This presentation of college football presented by Buffalo Wild Wings will continue after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Brought to you by Dr. Pepper, and who's in and who's out, you may not have noticed, but this conference playing pretty good football. 5 unbeatens at 4-0. Oklahoma State heads to Austin next week to take on Texas. Now, OU up a field goal with a 2nd down. 3rd time they've been in the red zone against this defense. Here comes your 2nd down and 8 as we start the 2nd quarter. Pump fake. Going end zone. Got a man wide open. Touchdown. Same play, basically, that they beat Florida State with. Pump fake on the screen pass and go to the end zone. Kenny Stills, he caught that one in Tallahassee, and now he catches this one in Dallas.
The staple of this offense, they'll motion out backs, they'll motion out a receiver. This time it happens to be Roy Finch, and it's just a little hesitation by the quarterback Jones, enough to catch the attention of the defense, and then he puts the ball right on the money. The key there is he had time to make the throw.
And here is Hunnicutt. And the one thing you may have noticed about Stills, he had a step and a half on that defensive back. Broyles is the Biletnikoff candidate, but Stills takes a backseat to nobody. For the touchdown for Oklahoma, and as we take a look at the Pacific Life game summary, keep in mind OU's had 3 possessions and 3 scores. 2 field goals and a touchdown, Herbie.
Yeah, and they're not running the football, but because right now Texas is determined to take that away. Texas is playing well in the red zone, but that was a big breakdown in coverage, and we'll show you in a second how Kenny Stills got so open.
So again, it'll be the freshman Diggs coming out from the 1-yard line. The OU kicking game is to keep it in his hands, and this time he breaks it to the 31-yard line.
Brett, let's talk about the presence of Ryan Broyles and what that can do to a defense. Here is Blake Gideon, a veteran. You have the Ryan Broyles, who you think might be able to get the football, and then Kenny Stills goes down and eventually gets behind. It's not just a pump to Roy Finch. Watch how Blake Gideon is so concerned about Ryan Broyles and where he is. He completely breaks down in coverage. Great plan, a great attack, and Texas's secondary is out of position.
David Ash will take over. He'll come in at quarterback. So it's his sequence now, and Malcolm Brown will be behind him. This young man is dangerous afoot. Malcolm Brown just can't find big holes as we check in down below with the third member of our team, Aaron Andrews. Aaron.
Brent, I was just standing by the Oklahoma defense when they were over on the sideline before. A couple of messages that the coaching staff was giving them. You know, the D-line, very frustrated by Brian Harson's trickeration. Travis Lewis actually had to come over to them and say, guys, come on, just think this through. It's not that hard. And then for the secondary, the message for them, they have to be a lot more disruptive with Texas.
All right, Aaron, and Fozzy Whittaker, who's been the more dangerous and the more experienced of the running backs, is back on the field. And they overload with a tight end and an H-back to the right. Ash runs into the running back, breaks free, throws out of bounds, and kills the play. Was smart enough to burn it by throwing the ball out of bounds.
This is what happens when you have a true freshman quarterback, and instead of dropping straight back, he drops at an angle and runs into the senior Fozzy Whittaker. He's lucky he didn't fumble that football and then eventually threw it away. Brian Harsin said the difference between Kellen Moore and a David Ash and Case McCoy, Kellen Moore had build-ins to find his third and fourth receiver. These quarterbacks, if it's not there, throw it away.
Marquise Goodwin, the speedster, checks in on third down and 8. And Ash from the gun going deep middle, intercepted. Picked off by Jefferson, who had 3 interceptions a week ago. Jefferson thrown down. I do not see a penalty flag. I thought there was contact near the receiver, but there are no penalty flags down around the 45-yard line. This an interception by Tony Jefferson from Chula Vista, California.
Well, one of the things that you hope for if you're Texas is that the freshman would not put the ball into coverage, especially against the savvy of this secondary of Tony Jefferson. 3 interceptions on 3 straight possessions. He gets an early start again here, and boy, he made a pass interference call early in the game. This time, the freshman stares down his intended receiver, and Jefferson is in perfect position to be able to make the play.
Ash's first interception of the year. So the 2 freshman quarterbacks, a fumble and an interception. That inexperience. That was what Texas was hoping to overcome. And now OU, remember, 3 scores in 3 possessions. Starting to take complete command if they can finish this one. Here's Whaley. And on that last play, as the receiver went down, we are told by the fellows down in tape that his leg just got tangled up. Take a look at this as he goes down. They said the legs just accidentally went down. At first shot, when I saw it live, I thought he might have been pushed down, but it is clear from that replay that the officials made a good no call. And Jefferson, young man, one of the 3 big-time players from California on this OU roster. We now look at second down and 5. Through, complete, first down, 20-yard line, and there was Broyles. It looked like as Whaley was flashing to the middle that he was throwing to Whaley, but instead it was number 85 he was looking for.
Man-to-man, as soon as Landry Jones sees the corners isolated, man-to-man without any safety behind them, they're attacking, obviously, the perimeter. I thought he might go to Stills, who's all by himself up top. Instead goes to Broyles for the first.
Now Broyles goes over to the slot left, and Stills is outside him. Jones fires back in that direction. Stills with a penalty flag thrown at the 3-yard line. Did Stills push off? I believe he may have pushed off, and this is going to go against the offense.
Pass interference, the offense number 4. 15-yard penalty.
Bob's going to argue his case, but Brent, Kenny Stills, before he has a chance to get away from the ball, you'll see it right there with the right hand. The defensive back was continuing on. I don't know how much he actually pushed him, but he gave the perception as if he did. Bob Stoops can argue it all he wants, but when you're a physical receiver like Kenny Stills, they're going to get you for that. Texas catches a break there because there again, a corner isolated one-on-one with Kenny Stills. Landry Jones is going to try to expose that.
So it'll come back 15 yards the other way. And it'll bring the ball back to the Horns, 35. And it'll be first down and 25. Incomplete. And had he hooked up with Stills that time, they were not communicating. That would have been a huge gain. There was a soft spot over there. Jones saw it, and I'm not sure that Stills recognized what his quarterback was looking at. Firing out of bounds, and that'll bring up a big 3rd and 25. So that penalty really hurt this OU drive.
That's the matchup that they're trying to get after. They also that time had Ryan Broyles man-to-man against Blake Gideon. It's 3rd and a long way here. They're probably thinking about trying to keep it within field goal range, but then again, with the aggressive nature of Bob Stoops, maybe they try to attack.
Hunnicutt's career long is 44 yards, in case you're wondering. 3rd down and 25. The 4 receivers out. Fires right side, caught. Jazz Reynolds again. He has made his catches count here today.
This is a page from the National Football League. 4 vertical receivers against man-to-man coverage. It's a no-brainer, and they go after the true freshman again.
And now Whaley on 1st and goal. He was stopped at the 5-yard line by Keenan Robinson.
It's the 2nd time that Quandre Diggs, who has a great future and is a talented young man, but he's a true freshman. He didn't do anything to slow Jazz Reynolds off the line of scrimmage and man-to-man. Never saw the football. Landry Jones spotted it, great awareness, put the ball right on the money, and so 3rd and long becomes a 1st down.
3rd and 25.
Yeah, 3rd and a mile.
2nd down and goal. Quick toss, Stills in the air with those great hands, and it comes free. Bynum working on him that time.
Brent Stills, actually, who has strong hands, had his hands on the football. Bynum actually gets his hands up and knocks the ball away, just like you would do in practice in a drill. Great coverage, because Stills went up and over him, but he didn't give up on the play, and eventually he stripped it away from the stronger Stills.
Rattery is on the field. And remember, Millard is a favorite of this offense. It's 3rd down and 5. He's a little bit offset. He's just to the quarterback's left. And if that's their 3rd timeout been used here, 11:47 to go.
I think Bob knows this is a crucial moment in the game. Big difference here between a field goal and a touchdown. What it would do to Texas' spirit.
13-3, Oklahoma threatening again. We'll be right back.
ESPN's College Football on ABC. Brought to you by Hyundai. If it's fuel efficient, affordable, stylish, and safe, it's probably a Hyundai. And Dell, the power to do more.
Great view of the Texas State Fair, courtesy of the Cheez-It Real Fan Cam. 90,000 plus on hand. Cotton Bowl, Dallas. Annual OU Texas battle. Sooners dominated. On 3rd down, Jones fires right at the corner of the end zone. Touchdown, the line judge says. That's Broyles. Broyles sits down at the goal line. And on 3rd down, really put a big number up on the Longhorns right now.
You think Landry Jones and Ryan Broyles have done this very much in practice? Let's see if the ball breaks the plane. Yeah, it does. I mean, basically, go to the pylon, just get a step beyond, turn around, and I'm going to throw you the ball against a true freshman. Ready, break. Touchdown.
Hunnicutt.
We'll take a look to see if it did break the plane. It's not about where his knee is. It's not about where his body is. It's about where the football is once he has possession. And that first look that we had looked like there wasn't any question, but always better to take another look. Breaks the plane right there.
Well, if this stands up, and Herbie thinks it will, that was Broyles' 42nd career touchdown. Probably checking also the back of that, Herbie, just to make sure the feet weren't outside. But I think the line judge that he might have been looking at that.
And there's an official. Boy, look at that. Look at that shot. See just a little bit of red right there. Boy, if you go back to that perfect.
After review, the receiver never stepped out of bounds and the ball broke the plane. Touchdown.
So it stands. And you know, through the years, as we're watching Broyles, they've had so many great running backs as you think back. We'll watch Hunnicutt here with the extra point, but that's his 42nd career TD, which I told you about if it held up. Now you watch Hunnicutt, but when you think about this game and some of the names through the years who have played for Texas and Oklahoma, unbelievable careers. So the question today is, and we'll have the answer after our break, which one of these great running backs holds the freshman rushing record for yards in a game? Sims, Williams, Peterson, Campbell. Look at that. Which one has the freshman rushing records in this game? Back with the answer. Rushed for the most yards in this game.
I'm going to guess Billy Sims, just because I loved him as a kid.
And it was Adrian Peterson in 2004 with 225. You should have listened to your spotter over here. Darren was right on the money.
That one there.
No, but you love Billy Sims.
I sure do.
And all of them were just great. Yeah. Man, were they fun to watch. There's digs back deep. This one's in the end zone. He's coming out. Sooners closing in on him. But he breaks out to the right. Good return for the freshman out to the 30. And right now, let's check in the studio. And here is Scott Van Pelt. Scott.
Greg, good afternoon. Time for your AT&T All-American Player of the Week update. It's Kellen Moore off a 254-yard performance, 3 touchdowns, a 50-point road win against Fresno. He's just 2 wins behind Colt McCoy all time. You can text your vote to 55862 from your mobile phone to vote for a chance to win to the national championship. Back to Brent and Herbie in Dallas, man.
Scott, thank you very much. And boy, I'll tell you, Kellen Moore is one of the great quarterbacks. Fozzy Whittaker is in now with Case McCoy, 23. And on his first pass of this series, Blaine Irby makes his second catch. Texas three possessions, Herbie, in a fumble, a field goal, interception. Not going to do it. Inexperience is definitely showing up here so far.
And with the youth of this team, the turnovers have hurt them, and it's affected field position, which you don't want to see if you're Mack Brown. Oklahoma's starting on an average right at midfield at the 50, whereas Texas is starting at their own 25, making them drive a long field with this inexperience and youth. Here they come.
End around and tripped up at the 22-yard line. Aaron Colvin rolled in, and Anye Boulay, Miles Anye Boulay, the wide receiver, coming around.
He's going to come from the outside. You talk about awareness, and in a defense right now that it's in attack mode. Great job of reacting and seeing that play by the entire Oklahoma defense, but mainly it was Aaron Colvin.
You don't think that Bob Stoops is enjoying this? Consider the last time that OU matched wits with Brian Harsin, who was the offensive coordinator at Boise State in that famous Fiesta Bowl. Stoops will take all the great defensive plays he can get against Harsin's offense. Looking for another interception, incomplete, underthrown that time. But you go back to one of the famous calls in all of college football, that Statue of Liberty play that Harsin dialed up with Boise State for that game winner. Stoops is going to pile it up if he can on Harsin here today. He has not forgotten. And there is the young offensive coordinator who comes in with an inexperienced offense. Trickeration not going to do it against this defense. First punt of the game. Back at the 28-yard line and out of bounds. That's where the Sooners will take it again. Texas needs to stop, my friend. This one's getting ugly. Here, everything Goodyear has learned, making tires that go the distance, inspires what they roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven. Roy Finch is the running back for OU. They've turned loose a scoring machine here in the first half of this game. They go empty and they're going to flare to him. Here is Finch. Spins away from the first defender. Crosses the 40-yard line at a late flag. back judge threw that as he came up. Did they have a crack back here? Illegal block.
Personal foul. Legal crackback on the offense, number 2. 15-yard penalty. First down.
So it's coming back. Trey Franks been suspended for a couple games, back on the field for the Sooners, and Bob will not like that.
Can't go when you're going back towards the football and you dive towards a defender's legs. I'm going to call that this year, and Brent Goodeye to see that. Texas right now just kind of reeling. They need anything they can get to help them out. We were talking at the break. First time that Landry Jones has been back in his own territory. Texas needs to get pressure on Jones and try to hope for a turnover right now to help their offense out.
First down. Wide open. In the air and almost intercepted. That was Bindum, who had a crack at that ball and still should have caught it to begin with. I can't believe that he doesn't hang on here.
And there's nobody behind Vaquero. Bindum comes over. You're right, he should have been able to hold on to that, but there was nobody out there on the outside of the defense. A play that Oklahoma would love to have back, but there is going to be a penalty here on Texas.
Critical error by the Longhorns on this flag. So they bring it up to the 39. Not an automatic first down. Let me change that. It is. It is a first down. Let me correct myself. That was a personal foul, so that's an automatic first down on that call. I was still looking at the replay, was still telling me that I sort of missed the call out on the field.
Yeah, late hit on the quarterback gives them that automatic first down, and here goes Landry Jones in his tempo again from the Sooners.
Play action, rolling left, throws it underneath, and Finch has got the first down. Roy Finch, the sophomore from Florida, picks up the first down, and here they come again.
I know Whaley gets most of the attention, even Brendan Clay, a sophomore, but boy, Roy Finch, now that he's healthy, low center of gravity, just a very difficult back and a good complement to the other backs that they have back in the backfield for Oklahoma.
Rolling that pocket to the right, they're going to throw back a screen on the other side, and it's wide open. Get a block, and it's a big gain to the 30-yard line. Austin Haywood, a seldom used tight end sophomore, for 20 yards on that throwback screen.
Right now, Josh Heupel is a step ahead of Manny Diaz. Just dialing up and moving this ball right down the field. The hurry up definitely affecting Texas.
Pocket holes, fires, Broyles, fumble, and it's ruled incomplete. They wave it off.
There are huge voids in the Longhorn secondary, and this is the wrong offense to do that against. Again, a little pump fake to the outside just as a decoy. And the defensive back that time, Diggs, came in and gave the hit from behind to dislodge the football. But Brent, I'm telling you right now, Landry Jones is going to find those seams. If you're going to leave huge openings in that secondary, he and his group of receivers will make you pay for it.
Yeah, and Adrian Phillips had checked into that secondary too back there with him, Harvey. And straight back, and that might be incomplete. They were throwing in the backfield, and that was Jeffcoat.
They're trying to set up another play back into that boundary, but behind the line, you're a free man to be able to hit.
Down goes Landry on third down. Calvin Howell from San Antonio rolls in.
This defense is still battling up front, and we said from the very beginning of the game that the matchup was actually playing to the favor of Texas up front in the trenches at that time. And you know, of course, Oklahoma's been able to settle down and put some points on the board. That time, Texas showing they're not giving up in this game, and they get some penetration and get pressure on Landry Jones.
Tressway back to punt. And Quandre Diggs is standing on the 10-yard line. This one out of bounds. It's going to be marked at the 15-yard line. And a reminder, Monday Night Football in Motown. Can you believe it, folks? The Red Hot Detroit Lions, 4-0. And there is Stafford, their big-time quarterback. Let me show you something about Matthew. Right here at Highland Park High School down here in Dallas Way. He went to Georgia. His father, who did not play football in Athens, was a graduate student there. And Matthew played for the Bulldogs, and here he is leading the Red Hot Lions, matched against the Chicago Bears.
Last week, you asked me about Josh Freeman. I was looking forward to breaking down Matthew Stafford.
That will be the second half promo. Okay. I'm coming to you. Here's David Ash in at quarterback, the rotating quarterbacks. Complete out to the left to Shipley. And Shipley had it out to the 18-yard line for a gain of about 3 yards on that play.
Texas, the first time they have faced adversity this year. I know BYU gave them a game and they ended up winning that game by a point, but I'm saying since they've gone to the freshman quarterback and they've gone to Case McCoy, they've controlled UCLA, they controlled Iowa State. Let's see if they don't panic offensively and they try to stick to their guns here.
A touchdown before the intermission for the Longhorns would be huge. Ash will throw this away. Looked like he was going to set the screen, and it had been blown up, so he just threw it away, and he now faces a third down. This is a true freshman, did not come to school early, so he missed some of that early preparation. And Mac Brown over on the sideline, hoping that one of these young quarterbacks finds a formula to move the ball against the Sooners. Only 59 total yards, Herbie, for the Longhorns.
This is where Brent Venables can try to really come after David Ash, a true freshman, and try to give him some looks and try to give him some pressure.
Trying to come from the inside, and they get to Ash. They did bring the heat, Herbie, just as you predicted. Back at the 11-yard line, Frank Alexander credited with the sack.
Just cross the middle linebackers. Box coming here. Travis Lewis, and by doing that, it creates enough confusion up front, not to mention the ends, who've done a great job all year covering from the outside, and the true freshman has nothing to do but to just duck.
Justin Tucker back, and Ryan Broyles awaits this punt. Sort of off the side of his foot, he rushed it to get it out of there, and Broyles and the gang gonna let it roll down. I believe it was touched right around midfield by a Longhorn. Well, after finishing first and second, Kurt Busch and Jimmy Johnson have reemerged as championship contenders. Kevin Harvick and Carl Edwards are tied for the lead, and we'll continue the Sprint Cup at Kansas. The race for the Cup, Sunday, 1 Eastern on ESPN. Dead even. Harvick and Edwards, and it is really getting tight right now. Who do you like, Herbie?
Let's see. I'm going to go with Edwards. Edwards got the hot hand.
Good man.
Go with him.
Good athlete.
Good Missouri Tiger fan, right?
Yeah, he is. Absolutely.
Who do you have?
You know I'm a smoke fan. I'm pulling for Tony Stewart this year. Incomplete. It'll be second down here. And there's a penalty flag.
There could be hands in the face on the defense.
Foul. Hands to the face on the defense, number 85. 15-yard penalty. First down.
That hurts a little bit here.
Yeah, battle in the trenches, and you know, penalties always seem to be a big factor in the outcome of this game, and it looked like early Oklahoma was making some mental errors, and now it's been Texas here the last couple drives. Not the thing you want to do to this Oklahoma offense. They don't need any help.
That's for sure. Awful lot of weapons as you look down there at Oklahoma. Got a few formation adjustments of their own. Here comes Whaley. Cut back to the right to the 30-yard line.
They kind of have abandoned the running game because they've had some success throwing the ball into this inexperienced secondary of Texas. But if you know Oklahoma, and you know Bob Stoops, one of the things that they were determined to do this year is become more balanced, be able to control the line of scrimmage and run the football, because it's only going to make their passing game that much more lethal.
Yeah, they scorched the Texas secondary for 227 yards and rushed for only 10 on their way to the 17-point lead. And you can see why they have abandoned the running game. They'll come back with a pass now on this third down, and young Jackson Jeffcoat, whose daddy was a good one with the Cowboys, makes that play.
You know, Jeffcoat on one side, Okafor on the other, Dorsey, Randall. They've done a good job of getting penetration when they've tried to run the football. Now on third and long, see if they can get some pressure on Jones.
Quick snap, dropped. Would not have been a first down anyway, but Hannah can't hang on. And here comes a fourth down. So the Longhorn defense held on that series, and here they come again.
They're going to go
on fourth down. They're going to go for it. They're taking Millard out. Remember, they're out of timeouts.
That's the guy right here. Brent, there aren't any safeties behind the coverage. Nobody in the back in the middle. Now they move back a couple safeties. Now they get a little softer in coverage.
Jones will go look for one-on-one, incomplete, and he had Stills breaking back toward the post this time instead of the sideline, but it's incomplete, and the Horns will take over. They still got 5 minutes here. This is a big 5-minute period coming up for Texas.
It was interesting that Oklahoma made some adjustments. And then watch Texas is man-to-man right now. Blake Gideon makes the check. He gets him out of it. Now they're playing a little bit softer coverage. So the check from the sideline from the Oklahoma coaches was to attack man-to-man. But by the time Landry Jones called it, Texas and Manny Diaz had adjusted to cover two, and it played perfectly into what Oklahoma tried to do there on fourth down.
David Ash with Malcolm Brown in a deep set. The two ballyhooed freshmen. Brown got daylight on the left, and you can see some resistance that he met Travis Lewis. When Travis brings it, you're going down.
The closing speed in the Red River rivalry is a little bit different than the high school games last year that young Malcolm Brown faced. Because you're right, I mean, he picked up 4 yards, but it looked like he might pick up 10 or 12.
Comes your second down. An option read, and Oklahoma just read the football. Casey Walker said,
Getting whooped up front, too slow developing. Casey Walker, who's really starting to emerge on this defensive line, beats his man. But the entire defensive line getting that penetration. And Brent, that play didn't have a chance from the word go, not just because of the battle up front, but the execution in the backfield that time with Ash in the back, out of sync, too slow.
Whittaker in the backfield for Ash, who is only one of three, facing a tough third down, and here comes the heat. And he runs away from it and throws. He was close to the scrimmage line. That's Mike Davis. He was very close. There is no penalty flag.
But that was big by the freshman just to step up and keep the play alive. It looked like Frank Alexander had a shot at him. There's his athletic ability and quickness. He steps up away from the pressure and then has an ability to be able to find the receiver, Mike Davis.
That was completely legal. He was the right side of that line of scrimmage. Young man with good recognition. Running play action, steps away from the defense, fires on the run, intercepted, end zone ahead. This is going to be a Sooner touchdown. Hurst, Demontre Hurst. A young man from Lancaster, Texas. So here is Michael Hunnicutt. Tacks on another extra point. A 55-yard interception return for a touchdown.
You know what really set this up? Aaron Colvin is a safety, walked up and is going to blitz. Watch the quarterback able to elude him, showing his athletic ability, steps away. Now he wants to try to find his tight end coming here, but what he doesn't see is Hurst steps up, comes off of his man, and he just throws it and hopes. But when you have an experienced defense and a guy like Hurst, who they'll tell you is their top cover man, he came off of his receiver, read the eyes of the freshman quarterback, and came over and made a play. David Ash just threw that ball after he avoided Colvin and just hoped his receiver, DJ Grant, could make a play on it.
You know that old line that coaches used to say about what's the best thing about a freshman? Next year they'll be a sophomore. And experience. They'll have it. These young men will grow up in the system, and a couple years from now, Herbie will be down here in the Cotton Bowl. We won't recognize.
You're right.
Those two youngsters.
You're right.
They'll know they won't throw that ball in that situation.
Nope. No.
Class continues. 27-3. The Sooners are in total command of this game.
And will not let up.
No, they won't. This time it's going to be Whittaker bringing it out. Hole in the middle, explodes, breaks free, and 50, 30. The Horns with a huge 100-yard touchdown return by Fozzy Whittaker. All the barbecue you want, young man. They had been kicking away from Fozzy to Quandre Diggs, and as you watch Herbie, the start of this return, they had Monroe out there, and this time Fozzy took charge of the kickoff. The extra point is good.
You need to turn to a veteran to be able to make a play, and this is a great view at what happens here to open this play. It's right in the middle. He hits the crease. Poor Patrick O'Hara tries to make the stop the kicker. But you know what? You turn back tonight, in 2008, when Jordan Shipley had that big return to kind of change the game around. It is a different set of circumstances. But Texas needed something to get them going, and maybe this could be exactly what they need to give them a little bit of hope to be able to be competitive.
This was the moment you're talking about. From the 5-yard line. OU with the lead.
Shipley, end zone ahead, folks. Touchdown, Longhorns. There is one flaw with this Oklahoma team, and it is their special teams.
I just like to kick up and listen. I just sit back and listen. That's beautiful. Now we'll see what happens.
Could change a game, can it?
A lot of football to be played here.
Still got 2:44 to go. And the Horns are trying to get their kickoff team squared away, get their 11 men out there. Trey Franks is back deep with Whaley for the Sooners.
You know Oklahoma is not going to be content with just running the football here. They're going to try to put another touchdown up on the board. So one of two things will happen. Either they're going to score, or Texas will have a chance to stop them and get the ball back.
This is Whaley. And he stopped shy of the 20-yard line. Well, let's go to Scott Van Pelt. Scott?
Right to this Taco Bell studio update down in Columbia. Connor Shaw under center this week, looking for Alshon Jeffrey. Always a wise play. Big number 1 has visited the end zone 2 times, and the Gamecocks have a 17-point lead in the second over Kentucky. Back to you.
I And we've got a 17-point differential here, Scott. 27-10, and the Sooners come out. They've got time, 2:38. Remember, they're out of timeouts now.
They split this stadium in half, 50% burnt orange, the other 50 crimson. Oklahoma right now is in the Texas side of the football field.
Jones putting it up on first down to Broyles, and close to another first down where he put it down. And reminded that we just heard Scott coming up on the Cooper Tire halftime report. He'll be along with Jesse Palmer. They'll have all the day's big highlights. Huge games around the country today. So second and short, and Whaley, the ball carrier. And now it's going to be third and short. Dorsey stopped him short of the first down. Big play by Dorsey.
Yeah, they are not running the football very well.
And so as a result, he just keeps it himself, Jones does, and picks up the first down.
They've been creative with how they've moved Ryan Broyles around. He's been at all three different wide receiver positions. He's currently in the slot to Landry Jones' right. Try to match him up one-on-one and see if they can get him up against Blake Gideon for potentially a big play.
James Hanna is on the left side of the formation as the tight end. Right tackle move. This is going to cost the Sooners 5.
Jarvis Jones, who's been out with an ACL since spring, they've eased him back.
On the defense, number 80.
Oh.
In the neutral zone, cause the offensive player to react. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Okafor actually, Mac Brown is irate. They called that on Okafor. Said he caused Jarvis Jones to move.
Wow. Sort of came up with a rear end there, that engine, didn't he?
You can move on the defensive side. It's interesting.
I just thought he came straight up that time. And who knows? First down and 5. Looks, comes downfield, and aimed at Jazz Reynolds. Incomplete that time. And they're paying a little more attention to number 16, folks, after those 2 big catches that he turned in here in the early going of this game.
I would challenge any fan out there to watch any game today and find a group that has a tougher task for 4 quarters than Quandre Diggs, Adrian Phillips, and Carrington Bynum out there isolated one-on-one against this group of wide receivers and Landry Jones.
You know what they're yelling, don't you? Come on, defensive line, get to it.
That's it. That's the key.
Second down. And they did that time, but he drops it off. On the juggle is Reynolds again. And Reynolds has another, puts it down near midfield and regains it. And that's a first down at midfield.
Wow. Took a big hit, continued to get downfield, picked up the first down. You said they need to get pressure. That time they brought a blitz and nearly got to Jones. He just got the ball off.
Quick snap now to Jones. Got the middle, fires Broyles, shakes off a tackle, and he's across the 15-yard line to the 14. That time, Ryan Broyles, the big-time senior from Norman, did not let go of the football.
Went right down the middle of the defense, and he got right behind Blake Gideon. Perfect throw.
After the 36-yard gain, fires end zone, stills, pulls it down, touchdown, Oklahoma. Boy, that's his spot, isn't it? You get him on that left sideline, one-on-one, and let Kenny Stills from California go to work.
And ladies and gentlemen, that's what we call an answer. So much for the momentum after the big kickoff return. Bing, bang, boom, touchdown, Stills on the fade. And when you leave those corners isolated, one-on-one without a safety behind them, they're going to get you.
Well, here's Hunnicutt. Tacks on another extra point. 34-10. Remember that third quarter down in Tallahassee? Incompletion. Broyles, first down. Stills, touchdown. This one about one play longer, but just as effective.
This is the play that set it up. Jazz Reynolds, who's really been coming on, good job of concentrating, takes a big hit and fights for more yards. They brought the blitz. They were able to come up with a play, and then just when these two are playing, they're always in sync. Landry Jones finding Ryan Broyles right over the middle of the defense, and this is what you have to always be concerned about when they get in the red zone. You think about Broyles, you think about maybe the running game, but it's Kenny Stills, the Florida State game that we had today against Texas. When Oklahoma gets down in the red zone, good chance they're going to throw that fade up to number 4 for a touchdown.
That was a serious vertical on the part of number 4. So Landry Jones today, with these 3 receivers as the main target, has thrown for 302 yards and those 3 touchdowns, 2 to Stills, 1 to Broyles. Reynolds has moved the chains all game long when they overlook him. So last night it was Kellen Moore, and tonight it's Landry Jones, and I dare say this might become one of the best Heisman Trophy chases in a long, long time. That'll be out of bounds. That'll be the penalty against the kicking team, but at least that did not allow Fozzy to go another 100. So there's 31 seconds, and OU leads it by 24 points.
Kicking team. Ball be placed 40-yard line.
That was
first down.
A great graphic because Stills and Broyles get all the attention, which they should, but something that defenses the rest of the year are going to have to concern themselves with is the emergence of Jazz Reynolds, the sophomore, 6'2", about 200 pounds. You can't just lock in on one guy, and that's what makes the Oklahoma offense so tough. You know, Reynolds didn't play early in the year. He's really come on here since the Missouri game and the Ball State game, and has kind of given him that third option, and Landry Jones is not shy. He will give him his touches.
So Case McCoy will finish up the first half for the Longhorns. And he'll hoof this one short of the out-of-bounds marker, and he is run down by Tommy Wirt.
Well, Tom Ward, remember when Clint Trickett was trying to run for his life? This Oklahoma defense loves to attack quarterbacks. And the closing speed, Brent, I think is the thing that really stands out with these linebackers.
So there's 21 seconds left here, Herbie, in the first half. Ordinarily, I might say, what can Texas do to adjust in the second half? But this is going to be tough going with a young team now. Let's be honest about it.
They get the ball to start the second half.
Okay, all right.
So that's one way to start. But reality is that this is a young team. We talked about it all week. How would the youth show up? The 3 turnovers have backfired. The veteran team, Landry Jones, have capitalized. The big thing if you're Texas is just keep fighting. Keep fighting. Hope the defense can create some turnovers to get the ball back.
McCoy, and complete down the sideline. Mike Davis. Of course, it's a bit of a prevent defense. The Sooners were not uptight pressing that time, and so Davis was able to sit down in a big hole in that defense. Now 16 seconds, and the Longhorns with 2 timeouts here in 16 seconds, and McCoy trying to move them into that end zone. This would be huge if they can strike. Release middle, diving, looks like an interception in center field. That was Javon Harris, and now they're waving it off. Now the field judge said no. Now there's a question. Harris said he had it.
2 of the officials were agreeing with you, Brent, and then one other official came in and said that it actually hit the ground. I'm sure they'll got to take another look at that, right?
Oh yeah, no, there's no question.
His hands look like they got underneath there. They haven't stopped it yet. Now they are.
Further review.
Now this one's going to be a little tricky because the hands, yes, are under the ball, but what's happening under the stomach as he pulls it in? Remember, this is an incompletion on the field. Had it been a completion, might stand up also, but they called it incomplete. So this one's going to be tricky.
Based on that first shot that we...
Yeah, it was impossible to to turn over. And a reminder that we also lost a good friend, Joe Assetti. For Colgate, he was a catcher at the College World Series and then started as a runner. And he became a legendary television director. There he is with Dennis Lewin, one of the former ABC executives. Joe Assetti, dead at the age of 76. And he was just a favorite of all of ours around television. Second down and 10. Incomplete.
Seven seconds sprint, and you know the kicker Justin Tucker. I mean, you're going to have to try to get as many yards as you can. Tucker actually has a career long of 51 yards, so see if they're thinking that, or they're just thinking let's put one up there and see if somebody can come down with a big play.
Third down and 10. And timeout called by the Horns.
Timeout, Texas.
Came from Mac Brown on this.
Complete.
Call timeout. Call it. Yep.
Mike Davis, the receiver that time. And a 24-point lead for the #1 or the #3 team in the nation, depending on which poll you prefer. Texas will get the ball to start the second half. And Bob Stoops very happy with the way his team is playing this year. Let's go down to Aaron with Mac Brown. Aaron.
Brent, thanks. Mac, it's really the first bit of adversity these two young freshman quarterbacks have dealt with on the road. What's your message when you get inside?
Oh, we haven't done anything right. We've the things we had to do when we came in, we had to take care of the ball and force turnovers. I think we've had 3 or 4 turnovers and haven't forced any. We had to stay away from penalties. We've had the penalties. They haven't had the penalties. We had to take care of third downs. They've made big plays on third down. We haven't, so we have played absolutely horrible. Give them credit. They've played great. We better grow up, better get back in this ball game. I like their spunk in the fight at the end. I like the kickoff return. Shoot, they take an 80-yard drive when we get back in the ball game with 2 minutes left in the go. So they're playing great. We had to disrupt Landry Jones. We're not. He's standing back there and he's making plays all over the place. So we just got to play a whole lot better. We haven't done anything right. Give them credit. They've done everything right.
Thanks, Mac.
Thank you.
All right, Aaron, as we send it to the studio now to Scott Van Pelt and Jesse Palmer for the Cooper Tires halftime report. Take it away, Scott. Welcome back to ESPN College Football on ABC, presented by Buffalo Wild Wings. Landry Jones throws for more than 300 yards in the first half, and Oklahoma builds a 24-point lead on Texas. And in case you just joined us, we should point out, Kirk, that there were 3 big Longhorn turnovers, and that resulted in 17 Sooner points.
Yeah, and just when it looked like Texas might get things going with a big return by Fozzy Whittaker, and you're thinking, hey, that may be some momentum going into halftime. Boy, Oklahoma just went right down the field and eventually hit a fade to Kenny Stills for another touchdown for that 34-10 lead. It's clearly the experience, the leadership, the big playability of Landry Jones and company against the inexperience of the Horns, definitely a big factor in the first half.
So the Horns will try to get something going here with the first series of the second half. And if you weren't with us, the high point for Texas in the first half was Fozzy Whittaker's 100-yard kickoff return. Quandre Diggs is back deep with Whittaker. And they try to keep it out of Whittaker's hands. Quandre picks it up on the right sideline, and they'll force him out of bounds around the 26 as we take a look at the Pacific Life game summary. Not 2 quarterbacks here today, but it's 3, Herbie.
Well, Landry Jones, Brent, you talked about his first half. 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. You know, Oklahoma had 11 plays of 10 yards or more. And then for Case McCoy and David Ash, their first real experience of dealing with this kind of environment and this kind of defensive pressure, struggling in the first half with the turnovers. Let's see if they're able to settle down here and get some things going better in the second half.
Case McCoy opens at quarterback for the Horns. Brown, pretty good hole on the right side and a powerful run out to the 33-yard line.
Texas is not good enough to just line up and play, and you can see in the first half of the 32 plays, 16 for 3 yards or fewer. And the negative plays and the turnovers. Just really, Mac Brown said it to Aaron Andrews walking off at halftime that they've self-destructed, but Oklahoma's had a lot to do with that as well.
Brown again. Jerry Bogues and Fleming would not let him have the edge.
Remember Fleming, Brent, on one of the first few plays of the game, Fozzy Whittaker, very similar play, but Fozzy Whittaker gave him a little shake and got outside of him. Fleming's in the exact same position, but this time against a true freshman, he doesn't let him outside, and not only that, he makes the tackle. Very important for Oklahoma's defense today, not letting the perimeter run game for Texas have any kind of success.
Brown and Whittaker both in the game on this 3rd down. Fumble. Oklahoma touchdown. David King, backup defensive end, a junior from Houston, rolls in with the 4th Longhorn turnover of the game.
And they brought pressure. What a surprise on 3rd down. And 2 guys get in there. First being Travis Lewis. Frank Alexander also creates the fumble. And David King doesn't want to just jump on it. Showing a little athletic ability there. 6'4", 275-pound junior picks it up and goes into the end zone. And Mac Brown and the Longhorn offense continue to have big problems with the turnovers.
Michael Hunnicutt tacks on the extra point. 4 turnovers have resulted in 24 Oklahoma points. Oklahoma leading Texas 41-10 in the 3rd quarter. We continue Dr. Pepper's road to the championships, and you certainly have to think about these Sooners who have showed up today for their Red River rivalry game against Texas. Diggs smacked inside the 15-yard line as OU continues to bring it. And tonight, great prime time lineup on our family of networks. SEC on ESPN and ESPN2. How about that Tennessee team? There's some folks who think they're going to beat Georgia tonight, huh? What a game that might be. And Alabama is on the U, and Ohio State, Nebraska. Herbie, what are your thoughts about Ohio State, Nebraska tonight in Lincoln?
Defensive battle. I think both offenses are struggling coming in. I think Nebraska at home will be tough to beat for Ohio State, the way their offense is executing right now.
Now McCoy hands off to Malcolm Brown, who shakes a tackle and is down at the 12-yard line. Rennell Lewis. So you take a look at the turnovers and the importance in this game and on the season, and the Horns thought perhaps they had conquered that coming in. But look at what's happened here today.
And really, since Garrett Gilbert has been replaced in the BYU game by Case McCoy and David Ash, they've done a really good job at taking care of the ball. And I think that's what gave them hope coming into this game, that maybe that trend would continue.
They fake the reverse. Whittaker keeps it on the left side out to the 16-yard line.
You know, I hope people who are not Oklahoma or Texas fans are watching, especially in the SEC, because the last 2 weeks, LSU and Alabama have done some impressive things, and they've moved ahead of Oklahoma in the polls. Well, Oklahoma knew that they had a big stage and a big opportunity against Texas to show what they could do, and they're trying to take advantage of that. And I'll tell you, this defense is a lot better than a lot of people give them credit.
And the coaches, though, have not budged. They still have OU rated number 1.
Right.
3rd down and 8. McCoy, penalty flag on the play. The throw was out of bounds, but over on the side that the pass was thrown, there was a penalty flag on that far sideline.
Legal formation on the offense. Many men in the backfield. He's the flag.
Let's check it down below now with Aaron.
Kirk was just talking about that stage that they're on, making an impression on people. And Bob Stoops told me coming out of the half, we're not taking our foot off the pedal here, guys, just like you imagine. He said we have to finish this off. This is Texas over there. He'd like to see his guys run the ball a little better, though, on offense.
Broyles is back deep. Justin Tucker standing inside his 5, whacks it about the 6-yard line, and here is Broyles. Out of bounds at the 39. Penalty flag. Unnecessary roughness. That's a personal foul. Broyles was clearly out of bounds and giving himself up on that sideline.
You know, Brent, Quentin Hayes, the backup safety from Oklahoma, looked like he may have hit a Texas player.
So he may have instigated this?
Yeah, it may have knocked a player into Broyles.
Well, I think they're conferring as they did earlier in the first half, Herbie, and you could be right about this. And if he did, if it was an OU player who instigated it, this will go against Oklahoma.
I think they'll probably push him back 15 yards there.
Mac Brown is seeing if he gets a vote in this. Now I see there's a second flag that I had not noticed.
A sure sign of a good time. Here we go. At Wrangler, real comfortable jeans.
Well, there's your view of the Texas State Fair. That's courtesy of the Cheez-It Real Fan Cam. Some burnt orange jerseys out there, stirring a little bit early, headed to that midway, kind of beating a rush out there. As Whaley's going to be the running back now for Jones on this first down. Dropped Millard, very sure-handed H-back fullback. Drops it that time, and it's 2nd and 10.
Rare drop by Millard. We haven't really called his name much. And the more versatile players on this offense lining up at fullback, but using him a lot in the passing game, and does a really good job of just kind of being the glue to this offense, an unsung hero for the offense.
Out in the right flat, they set the screen with Whaley, and there's a penalty flag flying. Whaley is to the 42. Back judge through the flag.
Probably going to be another crack flag.
Personal foul. Legal crackback on the offense, number 85. 15-yard penalty. 2nd down.
I think Bob Stoops getting frustrated because this is a rule that's new this year. Depending on where you are on the field, you have to really have a feel for where the football is. And see, he's saying he's not inside. It's a matter of where the ball is when you decide to go down. It's a you know, more and more coaches should probably look at avoid submarining these defensive backs, even though it's such a big part of these offenses where they get the ball out quick to a receiver.
2nd and 21. Incomplete. Stills the target, not on the same page. Bindum, the defender.
Rare miscommunication by Jones and one of his receivers. Now, what was it, 3rd and 25 the last time that they were in 3rd and forever? Yep. They found a one-on-one matchup from 30 yards and a first down. Looks like they're not getting the man-to-man situation they had on that particular matchup when they were able to pick that first down up.
Short of the first down. 45-yard line out of bounds is Jazz Reynolds. He has been the first down man in those situations, but Stoops will send the punting team out.
And nothing else.
Shipley goes back deep, and Whittaker is also. It'll be Shipley alone back deep. And the Horns put up a 10-man front against this punt, and here they come. And Tressway gets it away.
Crowd's booing. I don't even think he was touched. He was so excited to just dive.
Stoops says, look at the replay. Stoops says, take a look at this replay.
As soon as he punted the ball, he just went down. He's trying to, he almost sold it too much. It may have touched him, but he went down quick. I don't even think he wasn't touched. He just, you got to do a little bit of acting there.
Tress Way trying to take one for the team.
Bob says, look at that replay. Bob's not going to want to see that.
David Ash, his turn. So they bring the running back Monroe off the edge on the end around, basically. And our area coverage provided by Goodyear. Everything Goodyear has learned, making tires that go the distance, inspires what they roll, and yours, Goodyear, more driven.
One of the few times we've seen DJ Monroe get outside and pick up some yards. The lineman actually came around clean. That time the execution was perfect by Texas's offense.
Only 102 yards of offense for Texas here today. 102. And Fozzy Whittaker gives him a few more with a good first down burst on that run before Fleming is able to push him out of bounds.
Now the Oklahoma defensive line actually shifted down to the left. The defense is left. And when they did that, it was a really good job of recognizing the backside cutback. And Whittaker, once he got around Frank Alexander, it was him again with Fleming one-on-one. That time Fleming at least didn't get him around. But Fozzy Whittaker picks up that first down.
Ash rolls right. Throws it incomplete. Second down.
David Ash has a reputation in his early part of his career being the athletic guy between he and Case McCoy. But Mac Brown telling us this week, I said, did he run kind of a zone read? Was he an option guy in high school? And he said, no, not at all. He was a passer. He threw almost every down in high school, so he could throw the football. I think he's starting to get a little bit more command of the offense and not just an option guy. He can throw it as well.
Draw play, Malcolm Brown, the freshman. Bring up a third down and 5 coming up for the Horns and Ash.
You know, Texas and Mac Brown, this is obviously a game that's getting out of reach, but they go back home next week and take on another top 5, top 7 type of team in Oklahoma State. So, you know, they're still trying to learn about what they can do well and what they cannot against the better opponents that they play.
Whittaker and Monroe. And Whittaker in the Wildcat. Here comes the throw off the end around and ready for it. Shipley goes down. Play was successful earlier this year, but not against this defense. And Vernell Lewis, number 56, blows it completely up. And Bob Stoops is thinking on the sideline, remember that Fiesta Bowl, folks. Not going to happen today.
How about
14-yard loss?
Brent, the pressure again on third down. Texas up front, I think, surprised, and they ended up missing Ronell Lewis, one of the best athletes on the defensive line.
Low, and Broyles is going to let it roll dead. At about the 35-yard line. So it will be OU's ball again when you come back. Well, there's the season-ending award, the Coach's Trophy, presented by Dr. Pepper, and that'll be awarded at the 2012 All-State BCS Championship game in New Orleans. And Oklahoma has its eye squarely on that prize. I want to tell you, as they come out now with their offense, Whaley will be the running back. First down and 10. There's Whaley trying to stretch it out for another huge gain. Headed for the end zone. Whaley, touchdown, Oklahoma, 64 yards. And folks, Bevo can't stand to watch it anymore. He has flat turned his back on the horns and says that's enough of that stuff. Holy Toledo. Hunnicutt replaced the injured Jimmy Stevens the last few weeks. Hunnicutt has a strong leg. Accurate with his extra point. So here's the young man's longest run. 64 yards, Herbie.
Yeah, outside zone play, some good blocking on the outside. The tight end, 89, Haywood picks up a good block to the outside. Tyler Evans had a nice seal block, but I just think the guy that was surprised the most, I think, is probably Dominique Whaley. He got to the outside, and there was nobody left. It was just a simple outside zone play, and the effort by Ryan Broyles, the downfield block by him, that's exactly the way you draw it up.
Some orange, burnt orange shirts headed for the exits. They have seen enough. Crimson and cream not moving. Texas' only touchdown, a 100-yard kickoff return by Fozzy Whittaker. The Red River rivalry is turning into a Red River bloodbath. Landry, DJ Monroe, let me check that. Penalty flag, DJ Monroe breaks to the open, headed for the end zone. Second kickoff return for a touchdown. This one a 90-yarder, but remember, there are 2 penalty flags, and the OU players are signaling this one is coming back because of an illegal block.
During the return, holding, receiving team number 30.
Kendall Thompson just locked up Trey Millard, fullback that was covering the kickoff. But if you're Oklahoma, nothing better than winning a game and finding an area where you can still improve. And this coverage unit has been a problem, and that's something that Bob Stoops obviously will want to address. And 35 right there in the middle of the screen just pulls him down. Kendall Thompson.
David Ash back in as the quarterback. Malcolm Brown goes to work. Spins to the 26-yard line.
Maybe some yards here on 1st and 10. Right, actually, not only did he pull down Millard, it's right exactly where Monroe and Fozzy Whittaker ran right up the middle. So opened up that seam. But this we might end up with a half-empty stadium. You and I were talking about. They split this stadium in half with burnt orange and crimson. But Texas still trying to fight here, doing everything that they can.
DJ Monroe. He's the back alongside Ash. Shipley. Shipley well short of that first down marker. That is Jamel Fleming. Jamel Fleming out of Arlington, Texas, is developing into a big-time hitter on the corner. We have seen him now against Florida State and here today against Texas. And he's a tough rascal.
Boy, Brent Venables, the defensive coordinator of Oklahoma, has got to be very proud of the way this team is playing with such awareness. Their closing speed, their attitude, they're locked in. They're reading their keys very well. They talked about eye discipline quite a bit this week. And so far, they've played with quite a bit of that.
Cody Johnson is back as the tailback here in this 3rd down and short. And Berryhill with a timeout is called by the Longhorns. Well, let's take a look now at today's Good Hands, brought to you by Allstate.
There have been a lot of good hands for Oklahoma. Jazz Reynolds able to focus and concentrate, initially setting up a big play. Ryan Broyles downfield or a touchdown right before the half, which was to this man right here. There's the good hands. Kenny Stills for the fade and the touchdown. He's a strong good hands.
So there are the numbers on those three. By the way, Kirk, I had the pleasure this week of being at the Discover Financial Services. You know Discover is going to sponsor the Orange Bowl.
Yeah.
They've taken over. And your commercial was the hit of the show.
Oh, yeah?
Herb Street. What address is that? Peggy talking to you?
Peggy was killing me, right? I was getting frustrated.
Do you know the background of Peggy?
Romanian.
He is Romanian with the accent. I'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
As we watch,
you got it figured out, huh?
Watch our guy David Ash here. There's a handoff. And a battle for the first down. So there's the first down for Cody Johnson. This is kind of interesting because you folks who have seen the commercial, you've seen Lou Holtz, and now Herbie's commercial is out there. They're calling up. They got trouble with the credit card, and there's a guy on the other end who hassles him, won't let him cancel. Name of Peggy. Well, Peggy is a Romanian, but he's an algebra teacher. I thought that he was an actor, but those folks have discovered
a real algebra teacher.
He's a real algebra teacher. I'm not kidding you, my friend, but it's a good commercial.
Yeah,
they all applauded. You did a good job.
Good.
Okay,
that's important.
First down and 10. Quarterback keeps it Ash this time, and he's out to the 35-yard line. Picks up about 5 yards on the play.
Looks like Tom Wart may be down, and Travis Lewis, both linebackers.
Wow, that would be huge here, Herbie. Hang on with these two injuries. Look at this. You can see wearing the number 12 who's down. That's Travis Lewis in honor of the memory of Austin Box. Box's best friend probably on the team was Tom Wart, who's also down, number 21. And so they will honor him all season long. Someone will wear the number 12, and when they break the huddle, they go 12. And that's in honor of a young man who died tragically during the off season. And right now down on the field, when you see both Wirt and Lewis down.
In one play. I mean, you're talking about two marquee players. It's good to see you got both players up. It looks like Lewis looks like he's okay. Tom Ward,
he's getting help.
Yeah, he's getting some help off some leg injury.
Tom Ward's a young man who was born in England, played some soccer before he moved to the United States. Went to high school then north of San Antonio, New Braunfels, Texas. And he has been a good one.
You know, the Travis Lewis coming back in the game you and I had down in Tallahassee wasn't just big to have Travis Lewis out there because he's a playmaker. It was big because it freed up Tom Wart and the rest of the defense to just be able to play. Lewis takes on such responsibility of being that extension from Brent Venables out to the rest of the defense, freed up Tom Wart, and he could make a lot of plays.
I think they were looking at the right leg. There's my season, and because he missed those games, Herbie, a few games down the road, he'll become the leading tackler again.
Without a doubt.
He's moving in on Brian Bosworth for total tackles with the Sooners. He'll soon pass him.
He has he had that broken bone in his big toe, and they said, you know, even when he came back, he hasn't been able to practice.
He was a very fine high school running back, and Texas did not think that they could convert him to linebacker, and Oklahoma did, and they were able to convince him, and that's one of the reasons why he went to Norman and not to Austin.
You could see how frustrated he was. He had to sit out a play, and he said, hey, I want to go back out in the field.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll keep an eye on Tom Ward.
They're up 48-10, and he wants to keep playing.
Good run here now. This is a young man we want to talk about, Malcolm Brown. I asked the Sooners this week if they had recruited Malcolm Brown, and they did. In fact, they offered him a scholarship after his sophomore year. In fact, the Sooners offered 5 big-time running backs out of Texas scholarships, and the one they got was Brandon Williams. Now, we haven't seen him yet because they are so deep at that running back position, but he has a great upside. The Sooners knew they were going to get at least one of them, and they got Williams, and Brown wound up declaring for Austin. So not only these two teams battle here in October, they battle for recruits all season long. Nice throw to Shipley. What a beautiful pass. That's Ash's best pass of the day, right there.
And it's kind of what I think eventually you're going to see this offense become. Moving him away from the pressure. He's comfortable rolling out and throwing the football. And he's got a receiver in Shipley that I think as time goes on, you'll see them build quite a relationship between the athletic, strong-arm David Ash and the quickness of Jackson Shipley.
Yeah, Herbie, I think you're exactly right. They'll roll that pocket right and left. Malcolm Brown, by the way, is back in as the tailback. Here is the freshman. Heavy going, basically alone there for a couple of yards.
You're talking about how these two teams battle each other in recruiting. I found it interesting when they told us this week that, of course, it's a neutral site. I always wondered, how do you host high school players in a game like this? Do they both get to bring players to this game? And it's just the home team. So this year, Texas and Mac Brown are the home team. So they have a chance to invite players, same way they would do it if the game were played in Austin. But Oklahoma does not have that chance being the away team.
Ash, middle's open, got it on the slant. Beautiful throw again to Jackson Shipley, Jordan's younger brother.
And see, this is what people don't realize, is that David Ash can throw the football. I mean, this guy has a strong arm. Because early in his career, so far he's kind of been that change-up early this year as the option guy. Make no mistake, between he and Case McCoy, he probably has the stronger arm.
Fumbles a snap, falls right back on it. We were talking about David Ash. Do you know who his sports hero is? David Ash?
Absolutely. How crazy is that?
Colt McCoy.
I saw that.
Okay. That's his hero. And
now he's
I'm going to tell you, Colt
against
McCoy is a great young man to look up to. I'm sure he's probably watching this. You don't suppose that he and Sam Bradford had a bet on this game?
I can't.
No, those guys wouldn't do that.
No way.
No way. Huh?
Both doing a great job up in the NFL.
Sam is headed out to dinner with his offensive line tonight. Second down. Here's Ash in trouble. Taken down at the 34 by Tony Jefferson. There comes that speed. Good play safety. They move him up to that will linebacker spot, and he's coming.
And David Ash will learn to appreciate this. The more he faces Oklahoma, the closing speed, it's been on display the entire day, and he's got a lot of confidence in his own athletic ability to get outside and break contain. The only problem is you forget that Tony Jefferson's going to come in from behind you, catch up to you, and sack you for a big loss.
Third down and forever after that 15-yard loss. And by the way, Jaden Bird has moved in at linebacker to replace Wirt. Ash going down, fumble, puts it down again. Fozzy Whittaker bounces on it at the 45 after Ronell Lewis punched it away for the freshman quarterback.
So another example, Brent, of not just having the feel yet as it being a quarterback. Fozzy Whittaker tries to match up one-on-one with R.J. Washington. That's what forced Ash to step up, Washington's initial contact. But I'll tell you what, Ronell Lewis on one side, and whether it's Frank Alexander or R.J. Washington or David King, Oklahoma has 4 big-time defensive ends.
And this defense has not given up a touchdown in this game. Texas' only score came on a kickoff return. Broyles is back deep, signals fair catch at the 7-yard line, and that's where Jones will put it in play. Well, Tuesdays this fall, Tim Allen returns to ABC, a new comedy about a man's man living in a house full of women. Tim Allen, Last Man Standing series premiere Tuesday, October 11th, 7 Central on ABC. Hey, did you get a chance? I know you were busy getting ready for a game. Did you get a chance to watch Game 5 last night between the St. Louis Cardinals and Philadelphia Phillies? It's good to pitch you.
I'm going to come clean. I'm an old school National League guy, which means I like pitching. I love watching matchups like Holiday and Carpenter. I know everybody likes home runs today. I like that kind of matchup. Series is on the line, Game 5, 2 of the best arms in the game going back and forth. That was awesome.
Good friends.
Yeah, that was cool.
Both by Toronto. spectacular. First down. Throws to the sideline to DeJuan Miller, his first catch of the game. So now they get DeJuan Miller, the senior from New Jersey, into the stats column.
What the heck? I'm just interested that they're backed up deep inside their own 10-yard line and up for, what is it, 48-10?
Yeah.
He's going to keep firing away. You like those the well-pitched games?
Oh, it was a great pitcher's duel. Cardinals winning at 1-0.
How about Holiday?
And Furcall, what a pickup he was for the Dodgers to play shortstop. That one play he makes last night comes up firing. He must have as strong arm as any shortstop in the majors right now. Speaking of arms, our man Landry Jones has had a pretty good day today. Threw for more than 300 in the first half alone as he comes back to Broyles. And now he's at 344. Can he hit 4?
Stoops won't call him off. Not at all.
He got this is third down and short. Broyles again.
I think Oklahoma is frustrated. They may not want to admit it. I think they're frustrated that they have continued to win, and Alabama and LSU continue to get all the credit. I think they're out here trying to send a message to people, and they're not going to let up.
3rd and 4. Of course, you made the key point, and there is no Big 12 championship game this year. Remember that. The last game's going to be Bedlam in Stillwater. And Oklahoma State has another great offense. Pump fake, Landry Jones going deep, and there's interference. That was clearly, there was no doubt about Vaccaro reaching over on the wide receiver, but in fairness to Vaccaro, he might have saved 6.
Broyles has had some success hitting this crease right here. And I mean, the ball looks like it may have been a little bit overthrown, but the thing I love is to watch Landry Jones operate this offense, Brent. His footwork and technique. Watch a little pump fake. Watch how he's able to reset his feet, get back, and that's why he's so accurate. It's as much about his feet as it is his arm.
Now, Coach Gundy said Brandon Williams would get a shot, and here he is. So here's their ballyhooed freshman. He is behind Landry Jones now on 1st and 10. And number 23 gets his first call in this game. That was a powerful run out to the 46-yard line. So a youngster we've been waiting to see. And believe me, if he gets to daylight, he has breakout speed. As we come to the end of the 3rd quarter, we're looking forward to watch a couple of young running backs come down the stretch. If you're an OU fan, you're going to want to peek at Williams. So we'll continue after this message and a word from our ABC station. Motions out for Landry Jones, wants to set the screen and throws it incomplete as he was under enormous pressure from Emmanuel Acho of the Acho brothers, and his older brother playing in the NFL.
Acho comes right through the A gap between the center and the guard. You can see both of them kind of looking at each other, who's going to pick him up. They both missed it.
Firing complete. First down at the 44-yard line, and Broyles hanging on again.
We already showed the good hands team, but that is a great catch in traffic by Ryan Broyles. And that's the thing about Broyles. It's not just how many receptions, it's how he gets them.
That flanker screen quickly to the outside, and Broyles out of bounds.
How about Ryan Broyles at 5'10", about 185 pounds? Going right over Carrington Bynum towards the end of that play.
And that one went right through Miller's hands, I believe it was.
It's an impressive football team. I mean, in every phase, every aspect. I know the kickoff coverage team's given up a few today, but you have a veteran quarterback. You got great players, great receivers, great running backs.
When you score this much, your kickoff team gets tired. 3rd down and 4.
All right, now they have a chance to see that Keenan Robinson and Emmanuel Acho are both coming on the blitz. Texas backs out.
And working the sideline is Jazz Reynolds. That's right about the line again. Jazz has a great feel for the first down, and he picks up another one. Most of his receptions today, in fact, all but one, I think, have gone for first downs in this game. Landry Jones going to throw this one away. That also is a mark of a good quarterback. Waits till he gets his receivers at that mark and then heads it there. A lot of things about Landry Jones that impress you, I don't think they show up in the stats. I just think watching him run this up-tempo offense, he's going to be a load for any defense this year. He's a good-looking quarterback.
The other thing is, and he hasn't done it today, but when he makes mistakes, he doesn't dwell on it. You know, he bounces back from potential errors early in games. We saw it last year when they played Oklahoma State.
Second down and 10. That was deflected at the line of scrimmage, so it'll bring up a third down. When you go back to the day that he was forced into the lineup, Sam Bradford right here on this field.
Yep.
Knocked out because of that injury, and it was tough going, but you're right. Landry did not hang his head that day.
Not at all.
Just kept on playing.
And we've talked in the past that this Oklahoma offense always seems to have a quarterback with a similar attitude and approach to the game that Josh Heupel, who's now the offensive coordinator, the co-offensive coordinator, and calling the plays. And Sam Bradford had that. You see it now with Landry Jones as well.
There's that inside handoff on third down. Close. So Whaley was the ball
The
carrier.
crowd's yelling, go for it. And they are.
Here you go. And no field goal here.
What did Woody Hayes say when he was up on Michigan, 50-14? Why'd you go for 2? And he said, because I couldn't go for 3.
Great line. Fourth down.
Maybe going to let it go down and call the timeout.
Bringing the clock down. Now they call the timeout. We've got a break.
The plane with hundreds of passengers.
Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Everything Goodyear has learned, making tires that go the distance, inspires what they roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven. So here's your fourth down coming up for OU. Jones throws for incomplete. Texas football. Broyles the target that time, and well covered by Vaccaro. Now for an update, let's go to Robert Flores. Robert?
Hey, Brent, update on number 19, Illinois and Indiana. Indiana out to a 10-0 lead until the Illini come back. Nathan Shieldhouse to A.J. Jenkins. And the Illini are on the board. They are 5-0 for the first time since 1951. That season they started 7-0. They're down by 3. Meantime, Florida State trailing Wake Forest on ESPN3.com. But E.J. Manuel is back at quarterback for the Seminoles.
All right, and back at quarterback here is David Ash handing off, I believe it is. They have rotated Case McCoy and Ash throughout the game. Whittaker, there is David. He's out of Belton, Texas, 6'3", 222 pounds. And now Fozzy Whittaker, who scored their only touchdown on a 100-yard kickoff return, is shaken up as he comes to the sideline. DJ Monroe in as the running back. Got something this time on that far side. That nice pass to DJ Monroe, slipping out.
Brent, once they had trips, meaning 3 receivers to the right, David Ash. I know Lewis maybe potentially cramping up here. He's done so much work today. But they motioned out Monroe. They had eventually four receivers out there. It was telegraphed. Oklahoma was there. It's just DJ Monroe made a miss.
As we take a look at the Pacific Life game summary, turnovers have been a huge story in this game. 4 for the Horns have led to 24 points. Average yards per play here today for the Horns, only 2.8, less than 3 yards a play. Meanwhile, 367 passing yards for Landry Jones. So it is all OU's way. And I suppose that the only real negative here for Stoops, although they did allow that kickoff return, but I think the bigger factor is the injury to Tom Ward, the middle linebacker. Malcolm Brown is in as the running back. He's down, and Aaron, what's the report on the field about linebacker Tom Ward?
Working on him, Brent, and what it seemed like they were working on was his lower right back. They were stretching him out on the floor and trying to give him some aspirin to shake it off, and he's actually been stretching it all the while he's been standing on here on the sideline, so it looks like lower right back.
All right, so here's Monroe, and let's hope up on his feet. That's normally a good sign, Herbie, and it doesn't appear to be a leg injury either, too. Three-man rush now. Ash throws in underneath. Davis stripped. Here they go. Fleming into the end zone. Boomer Sooner in Dallas today. That's their third defensive touchdown of the afternoon.
Well, we talk about awareness, awareness, awareness. You give up a little bit of a hitch route. You don't give up on the play, and Fleming rips the ball out of there from Mike Davis, the sophomore wide receiver. Has the presence to be able to pick the ball up in the air, and then he's gone. Speed to the end zone. But another lesson for Mac Brown and Brian Harsin and this young Texas offense. Protect the football.
Michael Hunnicutt, redshirt freshman from Richardson. That was a 56-yard defensive touchdown.
And the fifth turnover of the game for the Horns.
55, the double nickel to 10.
Now by Wild Wings, Beer, Sports, and Nissan, proud partner of the Heisman Trophy.
A great view of the Texas State Fair. Do you like butter fried? You can get it here.
Who came up with that?
It's courtesy of the Cheez-It Real Fan Camp.
Who came up with fried butter?
Not only that, some people have told me it's pretty good. I'm just passing it along. And the hat, just take that on toward Norman. The golden hat. Fielded at the 21-yard line, and that's where Texas will put it in play. 3 defensive touchdowns here today by the Sooners. Hurst on a 55-yard interception return. King on a 19-yard fumble return. And now Fleming, 56-yard fumble return. You know what they're saying? Voters, AP voters,
what do you think now?
Watching and listening?
Pretty good when the defense can outscore the opposing offense. They're up 21-10.
And Case McCoy will try it. And there's Malcolm Brown. Let's check in down below with Aaron.
Thanks, Brent. Kirk, you actually brought up a great point during the break there. What happened to LaMichael James when the Oregon Ducks game kind of out of hand? Well, there's some injuries to talk about on Oklahoma's defense here. David King dealing with a shoulder injury. Ronell Lewis is cramping up, and we already talked about Tom Morton. Talking to some people over here for the Sooners, and they're saying Bob Stoops doesn't take guys out, though, when the game's out of hand.
He's going to keep pounding.
Remember the Fiesta Bowl. Second down.
It's the rallying call, right? Oh.
Brown again thrown back by Bird, who has replaced Word as the middle backer.
You know, I stand corrected. I said they've outscored Texas' offense 21-10. They've, in fact, not given up a touchdown. The only touchdown that Texas has, you said it earlier, is on the kickoff return. So I stand corrected, and I did not mean that Oklahoma. Their defense has played so well. Not only are they scoring, they've not given up one touchdown today.
They've heard you brag on that LSU Alabama defense. They're saying, Herbie,
what do you
take
think?
a look at this. Here's third down for McCoy. Slips free on the move and finds Shipley. On a scramble play, Shipley to the 40. And it's a first down for the Horns.
And I think you and I agree, Brent, that these freshmen are eventually going to become players that will come back to Dallas and we'll be bragging about how great they're playing. But this is just the reality of being a true freshman, being asked to step out here. In Case McCoy's case, a true sophomore. He didn't even play much last year. This is really the first year he's played much. And the same thing with Jackson Shipley and Malcolm Brown. Their better days clearly ahead of them. They're learning every single snap of what it takes to be successful.
Play fake, throw back to Brown. Here is that freshman. 25, they finally got him some daylight, and I think you can see why Texas was so high on this young man. Out of Cibolo, Texas, 6 foot 217, true freshman.
So for these young players, and I know that this game's out of reach, it's ugly, it's embarrassing for Texas, but it's about continuing to grow and mature and develop.
There's the roster. 56 freshmen and sophomores here. Throws in underneath, and that's Davis. Mike Davis for the first down. So the offense trying to get its first touchdown of the game for Texas. The Oklahoma defense trying to keep them out of that end zone. They'd love to say that they didn't give up a single touchdown, and the Horns, meanwhile, would like to build on something here in the fourth quarter. Colt McCoy's brother Case trying to take him in. Empties the backfield now. Come back with the running game, and it's going to be second down. Joe Bergeron, a freshman from Mesquite.
Another true freshman.
That's his first carry of the game, too, Irving.
Welcome in, Joe. Joe's more of a power back, where Malcolm Brown reminds me actually a lot of Cedric Benson. Kind of a slasher. Doesn't quite have that breakaway speed. There's a high school senior named Jonathan Gray out of Aledo, Texas, just outside of Fort Worth, who they think next year can give them more of a Jamal Charles fast twitch guy to go along with Malcolm Brown and Bergeron in that backfield next year.
Now, Shipley motions out. Here's McCoy, pump fake in trouble. Going down. As soon as he brought up the right arm, he saw big OU defender all over him.
Well, they are confusing every time McCoy drops back to pass. They're doing enough to create some confusion up front. That time McCoy didn't have much of a chance at all. Now here comes a third down.
76 sack yards on top of the 3 touchdowns. Almost intercepted. Threw it into the midst of R.J. Washington, a junior from Fort Worth. He's a backup lineman, so there are some backup players out there on the field.
And R.J. Washington, this again a good job of just the awareness. Can't quite get to the quarterback. You're kind of sensing that he might be trying to throw that screen. Not just seeing it, but the athletic ability to go up, and he almost was able to intercept that.
Here's your fourth down. You got a timeout. 6:43 to go. So we'll take a break. I was a Texas fan that had to wear that hat. He could be wearing it for a little while longer, too, I think. Fourth down. Fires. Incomplete. Oklahoma football. That's going to bring the curtain down on Landry Jones. Drew Allen has been warming up on the far side.
And Brent, how about the corner play today by Hurst on one side and Fleming on the other? It has been outstanding. And I know they're going up against some young receivers, but they've played well. Landry Jones, pretty good effort today, Brent.
31 of 50, 367 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, and a good argument to be in that debate about who's going to win the Heisman Trophy this year. And believe me, it is a debate. Brandon Williams gets the handoff. Freshman cuts back to the left, tries to create. No, down at the 10-yard line. Kenny Vaccaro coming up. His 17th career 300-yard game. School record. So here is the backup, Herbie. Drew Allen, he's from San Antonio.
6'5" sophomore, and it's a chance for him to get some reps trying to run this offense. Runs it in practice, looks over to the coaches, and Jay Norvell, Cale Gundy give him the play. Any reps are good reps for quarterbacks.
Incomplete, and that was almost a pick six. Vaccaro was closing in.
Landry Jones has done just about everything. Just, again, Brett said it, and I agree. It's not just the numbers. It's the command of this offense, the up-tempo offense. They're able to go up-tempo and avoid mistakes because of the way he plays and because of the decisions that he's able to make. He processes the information quickly. He's kind of unflappable. And it was on display again today for this OU team, and big part of the success of their effort today.
Yeah, indeed. Allen throws it deep and incomplete, and so that will bring about an Oklahoma punt. You know, it's been a very good year for Landry. Whitney Hand is a guard on the women's hoops team, and yes, folks, that is a quarterback, and yes, he is proposing. You'll see on that fence, marry me. She did say yes. Okay. 4th and 15. It is interesting, Herbie, and you referred to it, to watch youngsters like Landry Jones mature. And I was thinking about the Texas quarterback situation with those two. Ward's punt fielded at midfield by Shipley, and he's down right away about the 47-yard line. So we'll have more as the Sooners have taken dead aim at a national championship. Serving notice today. Grow up and get them next year. 55-10, OU. Nash hands off. And so we're getting a pretty good look here at DJ Monroe. Now, this conference, the Big 12, and they've got, I think it's 5 unbeatens right now, but Chuck Ninus, saw him down on the field. He's here today, interim commissioner. And the SEC has welcomed Texas A&M, and they'll be gone by next season. And the Missouri president is authorized to explore conference affiliation. And the Big 12 has extended an invitation to TCU. Joe Castiglione, the athletic director at Oklahoma, is here. And remember, he was the former athletic director at Missouri. So he's telling me that the fate of Missouri is definitely far from sealed. In other words, there is still a chance that they'll stay right here. You know, when you think of Columbia, Missouri, it's midway between St. Louis and Kansas City. And one of the great rivalries in all of sport, whether it's football or basketball, is that Missouri-Kansas rivalry. And I sure would hate to see that disappear. And it looks like the Texas A&M-Texas game is going to disappear. And that is just a shame for football fans here in Texas. But TCU is going to step into that void for the Longhorns, and then we'll just go on. There is Shipley out of bounds as he steps toward that first down and gets it.
Brent, I'm hoping Missouri's just making some noise. I really don't think they have a whole lot of options right now, and I think it'd be a mistake to leave, even if they got into the SEC, which it sounds like is what they're investigating. Big 12 right now, you bring TCU in, very competitive in baseball and everything except men's basketball. They seem to be doing a good job with their athletic department. Missouri stays in. There's some natural rivalries. Big 12 this year enjoying a lot of depth. 6 teams ranked going into this week in the top 25. You know,
Absolutely
stick around.
Stick
around.
Absolutely agree. First down and 10 from the 25. I believe that's incomplete. That's incomplete. Well, we've got 3:30 games coming up after us. Let's check in with Robert Flores. Robert, what do you got for us?
That's right, Brent. Coming up at 3:41 on ABC, Iowa, who has beaten Penn State 8 of 9. They will try again in Happy Valley, taking on Joe Paterno, or Miami taking on Virginia Tech, Missouri taking on number 20 Kansas State. Top 2 games on ABC or ESPN. That bottom game only on ABC. Brent.
Thank you very much, Robert. And Phil Snyder, what can you say about him and the job he's done again with Kansas State? On the move, and they're showing some of the running ability that you talked about as Ash as he steps out of bounds.
Brent, that is a big game in Manhattan today as far as the Big 12 is concerned. Missouri lost to Oklahoma, obviously earlier this year in Norman, but James Franklin starting to get in command of that offense, taking over for Blaine Gabbard. They're running the football well, but I think Kansas State's been a great story. We'll find out. And they beat Miami down in Miami. They beat Robert Griffin and Baylor. Now they're back home going up against Missouri. And Colin Klein, their quarterback, is a gritty, tough leader running that option attack for Bill Snyder.
I wouldn't mind seeing Robert Griffin play the season's over. He's just such a good-looking quarterback. And Ash running for his life. And that's what you're going to do against this OU front. That was Lewis, and he's been in there a lot here.
David Ash is a dominant athlete, true freshman, and in high school he didn't have any problem probably breaking contain and eventually making a play. But that's a defensive end. Ronell Lewis, a former outside linebacker, had made the move last year to defensive end, has 4.5 speed, if not better, and he's gonna chase you down.
That defensive front, first and second team for OU.
Scary.
There's some fellas that are going to be lining up on Sunday.
No doubt about it. And then the linebackers with Ward, assuming he's healthy, and Lewis and Tony Jefferson. That front seven's nasty.
Fourth down. Here comes Ash trying to keep this alive. On the move. Davis, first down. So maybe the Horn offense, and there's the penalty flag over on that side. He was out of bounds when he pushed in.
Yeah.
So that'll add a few yards. And maybe this Texas offense will put up 6
After
here.
the runner went out of bounds, personal foul, unnecessary roughness on the defense, number 85. Half the distance of the goal. First down.
Ash kept this play alive this time with his athletic ability, and you know, one of the things that you always want to see from a young team and a team that struggled is just continue to fight. And Davis is able to find an opening in that zone, but it was really the effort there by Ash to not give up on that play and eventually get that first down.
Well, don't turn it over. They got 4 cracks at it. Ash is going to throw on first down. Wide open Shipley. Touchdown, Texas. Their first offensive score of the game. They had a kickoff return for a touchdown. And now Jordan Shipley's younger brother scores their first offensive touchdown of this game.
That time, Demontre Hurst just looked lost in coverage. I don't know if there was some kind of miscommunication or what happened there, but he didn't even stick with Shipley. Just kind of let Shipley go to the fade and made it pretty easy for Ash to just put the ball up into the end zone for a touchdown.
So Tucker adds the extra point, and now get ready for the onside kick.
Now Hurst and Fleming, the corners have played well. You see his eyes peeking in. But you know, I don't know if he underestimated. Maybe he thought he knocked Shipley down. He just kind of gave up on the play.
Yeah, after you push that man, there's no safety over there.
There's nobody behind you. You're isolated.
Go with him.
One-on-one. I guess you're allowed. You're entitled to one mistake for a game.
Well, the NASCAR chase continues, and it couldn't be any tighter. They're rolling into Kansas. The telecast presented by Dodge, ESPN, tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern. While you're watching the NFL, switch on over during commercial and take a peek. It could not get any tighter than it is right now. Harvick and Edwards dead even. Stewart only 9 back, along with Kurt Busch. And, oh, yeah, there's a guy by the name of Jimmy Johnson. Only 13 out, only won 5 in a row.
Look out for that 48 now.
That 48 is pretty good.
48 is coming.
That's good, man. I got to get you to that NASCAR scene yet, man. You know, those guys are big football fans. They're out there watching you.
I know.
They say, what's with this?
I need to go. I don't know. I don't know anything about it. I need to see it in person. Dr. Jerry Punch says you go one time in person and you're hooked.
You're hooked. Yeah. Daytona next winter. We'll go down there.
Okay.
As fans.
I'll come with you.
Let's
That'd be great.
We'll take Darren with us.
Yeah, that'd be great.
George and Scott, our whole booth. Taking a knee. They decided not to go to the onside kick, by the way.
No, I think
nice prediction by me.
They're excited to maybe just let this clock go out.
Yeah, let's take a look at the Oklahoma schedule. Fans love seeing what's ahead for their favorite teams. And Herbie, walk us through what you think about their schedule.
Well, is Kansas still playing football since Mark Mangino left? Boy, oh boy, they are a train wreck right now. Texas Tech, of course, it's in Norman. The 2 games I thought might be a concern before the season started, at Kansas State and at Baylor, just because they're on the road and they're not traditional powers. But then the big one, of course, at the end of the year, at Oklahoma State. That's the game that I'm assuming will be there, and that's the game that I think will decide the Big 12 championship.
Bedlam. First down and 10 for the backup quarterback, Drew Allen. Mop-up time. And this is Williams, the freshman. Fumble, and Texas has got it. Texas can punch in another touchdown after Brandon Williams puts it on the deck.
See what happens when true freshmen play? Mac Brown saying, hey, Bob, my whole team is like Brandon Williams. Big hit that time by Christian Scott, the safety. And there's a rare mistake by an Oklahoma defender.
And that was another freshman who recovered it.
Yeah, Josh Turner jumped on top of it. Big hit by Christian Scott, the senior.
That's Oki's first turnover of the game. Came during mop-up time. So let's see what David Ash can come up with here. End zone, incomplete. No penalty flag. And the receiver, Marquise Goodwin, with all that speed, but he was not pulling away from that Oklahoma secondary.
No, these guys can fly, and they're obviously locked in on what David Ash is trying to do. I think that the game is out of reach. It's 55-17. The game is over. But Texas just trying to be able to do anything that they can, again, about building for next week. They go back home. They play Oklahoma State. They're trying to find some things that maybe can work for them next week.
Bergeron in as the running back. They throw that quick flanker screen to Shipley, and Shipley's doing as many things as his brother did.
He looks a lot like him, actually. I think we were down on the field with Game Day before the show started, before this game started, and I looked over at Shipley and in warm-ups, and I thought, boy, he even looks bigger than his brother did.
I agree. He does look a little bit taller than
he's impressive.
Than Jordan.
To be just a true freshman and to be competing in this game, they list him at 6'1", about 190 pounds, but they say he is probably the best practice player they have on the offensive side of the ball. How many times do you ever hear that about a true freshman?
Third down and 4. Incomplete. Pressure was coming.
So they got Frank Alexander maybe for.
I thought there was pressure, but I didn't see the personal foul. Did I miss something here? Let's take a look at this.
I think he came in high.
Did he come in high?
Yeah, that was Alexander. They move around. This time they put him in the middle.
Yeah, no question. No, good call. Very good call.
Yeah, he's a horse.
I was watching, and that influenced that ball because it kind of flew out. Yeah. So that gives him a first down at 1:33. And, oh, by the way, he is a starter. And, oh, by the way, he's still playing here with a minute and a half to go.
Whole game. They've kept most of their starters out there.
Well, they're on full scholarship.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
There's that long handoff to Bergeron. This will bring up second down now.
Bergeron, they tried to put into the game. He's more of a power back. But if Fozzy Whittaker or Malcolm Brown or DJ Monroe don't have the football in their hands, they cannot run the football. I mean, it's about speed.
Let's check in now with Robert Flores for an update. Robert?
Brent, Wake Forest is looking for their first 3-0 conference start in school history. But Florida State down. They get a touchdown run from Ty Jones to cut the lead to 32-24. They're still trailing. Wake Forest leading early fourth quarter. Meantime, the Illini of Illinois spotted Indiana a 10-point lead, but they now lead 20-13. Hey, Brent, hook me up with a funnel cake and some of that fried butter on your way back. Thanks.
Coming right at you, Robert. Anything you want down here, my friend, we'll take care of you. So, Herbie, here's my question regarding Texas. Two quarterbacks, and some people always say you got two quarterbacks, you don't have any quarterbacks. Would you make a decision if you were Mac Brown on Ash and McCoy going forward this season?
I would.
Since they're both freshmen, would you stick with one?
I think playing two quarterbacks is a dicey situation. In fairness to these guys, I think you need to see what they can do in games for one of them to separate themselves from the other. But I always get worried when you see a quarterback situation where there's a platoon.
Batted back down, incomplete. McFarland rolling in that time. Number 97, the junior from Lufkin, Texas. He's the starter. Rennell Lewis, out of Oklahoma, a junior. McFarland, Casey Walker, Frank Alexander, backed up by Stacy McGee, Torea Peterson, David King, R.J. Washington. This is a very, very good defensive line.
And they have great depth. And that's the big difference is you can rotate guys in. It's nice to see Jamarcus McFarland starting to make plays. He came in with almost unrealistic expectations, one of the top defensive recruits a couple years ago, finally healthy and finally starting to make plays.
Ash takes off. And it'll be fourth down from just shy of the 5-yard line. Minute to go here. Remember, we've got our 3:30 games coming up right afterwards.
Oh. We're going to do some hits on the field afterwards if you want to.
So Herbie's going down with game day. El McFarland's coming off now. And
join us.
I'll be watching you guys from Montana right tonight for that wrap up. Here we go now. Fourth down and 5. Ash in trouble. Oklahoma will run the clock out and go home with a 55-17. Hold on, we got a yellow flag.
Demontre Hurst looks like he's trying to state his case. The flag came in right where he was in coverage. Flag came in late. Problem is the ball wasn't thrown. I mean, unless it was holding, defensive holding or a face mask.
So it'll be Sooners football and victory. Golden Sombrero heads back to Norman.
They picked up the flag and waved it off. And the Sooners, as we've said throughout the whole broadcast, take advantage of this stage, send a message maybe to some of the AP voters, 55-17. Texas got to regroup in a hurry, going back to Austin next week to take Brandon Whedon, Justin Blackman, and the Oklahoma State Cowboys come to Austin. It's not going to get much easier next week.
We talked a lot about Jan Harson, the new offensive coordinator out of Boise. Let us not look past Josh Heupel as a play caller for Oklahoma. He's been doing an excellent job this year.
Absolutely. He and Jay Norvell, co-offensive coordinators, but you're right, Heupel's calling the plays for Kevin Wilson. And they've not skipped a beat with the way they're playing.
So Oklahoma, definitely one of our contenders to go to New Orleans in the championship game. They win it 55-17. Bob Stoops with another big win. And Texas will go back to Austin and regroup in time for Oklahoma State. So thanks for watching ESPN on ABC. Coverage will continue after this message.
Beautifully.
Lamar Miller.